find the terminal.
Welcome. Your compatibility really impressed me.
Billy de Montbell. Call sign Knox, assault operator. Trained by Havoc, Knox is a seasoned mercenary with rich experience. As a man of few words who prefers to operate independently, his collaboration with GTI is a product of necessity rather than a choice. Specializing in information disruption with proficiency in various combat techniques, he excels in stealth operations. Like a cold dagger, he exposes vulnerabilities in enemy defenses to strike at their throats. Knox's tactical equipment, Silent Assault, consists of an information jammer and sonic jammer. When activated, the disruptors emit sonic interference waves, minimizing Knox's sound propagation and the alert range of enemies. While this interference is in effect, enemy recon tools are unable to pinpoint Knox's exact location.
Allied forces are engaging at objective Bravo.
Man's fear of darkness is imprinted in our genes. In the absence of light, we become prey, hunted by nameless dangers and unknown fears.
Where do you think Havoc's boss went?
Dead, probably.
Then who's paying their soldiers? Who's there?
We try to seek solace by the faint light of fire.
Where is that noise from?
But a deal was made with the dark. And the darkness became a weapon. There's no waiting for the protection of dawn. A winner must be crowned tonight.
Hostiles detected.
Late. Skynet has been destroyed.
No. Skynet's been upgraded.
Zoya, what's going on?
Alexei! Come on, anyone, do you copy? Knox, confirm your position. The deal is clear. I'll help you remove your relink and escape Havoc. But first, you infiltrate the Skynet terminal and restore our comms. Respond immediately.
I'm in position.
find the terminal. Or I will...
Welcome home, Knox. Trial 160 compatibility treatment has been astonishing. You are truly one of a kind. Don't resist. Embrace.
Get out of my head!
Find him! Go!
Let's spread a little panic.
We've got you surrounded! Enemy over here!
What's your status? Have you found the terminal?
We've been set up. The server room's empty.
I was right. You were still the best. I knew you'd come back. But here's the truth. It's not Havoc that needs you. It's you that needs Havoc. We are the future.
Find the terminal. Or I will...
No, your compatibility really has been.
Billy de Montbel. Call sign Knox, assault operator. Trained by Havoc, Knox is a seasoned mercenary with rich experience. As a man of few words who prefers to operate independently, his collaboration with GTI is a product of necessity rather than a choice. Specializing in information disruption with proficiency in various combat techniques, he excels in stealth operations. Like a cold dagger, he exposes vulnerabilities in enemy defenses to strike at their throats. Knox's tactical equipment, Silent Assault, consists of an information jammer and sonic jammer. When activated, the disruptors emit sonic interference waves, minimizing Knox's sound propagation and the alert range of enemies. While this interference is in effect, enemy recon tools are unable to pinpoint Knox's exact location.
Allied forces are engaging at a second level.
Man's fear of darkness is imprinted in our genes. In the absence of light, we become prey, hunted by nameless dangers and unknown fears.
Where do you think Havoc's boss went?
Dead, probably.
must pay their soldiers. Who's there?
We tried to seek solace by the faint light of fire,
Where is that noise from?
but a deal was made with the dark. And the darkness became a weapon. There's no waiting for the protection of dawn. A winner must be crowned tonight.
Hostiles detected.
Late. Skynet has been destroyed.
No. Skynet's been upgraded.
Zoya, what's going on?
Alexei! Come on, anyone, do you copy? Knox, confirm your position. The deal is clear. I'll help you remove your relink and escape Havoc. But first, you infiltrate the Skynet terminal and restore our comms. Respond immediately.
I'm in position. All clear.
Find the terminal. Or I will.
Welcome home, Knox. You have noticed has been astonishing. You are truly one kind. Don't resist.
Get out of my head!
Find him! Go!
Let's spread a little panic.
We've got you surrounded! Enemy over here!
What's your status? Have you found the terminal?
We've been set up. The server room's empty.
I was right. You're still the best. I knew you'd come back. But here's the truth. It's not Havoc that needs you. It's you that needs Havoc. We are the future.
Well, good morning or probably good afternoon, maybe even good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome into the Warfare Meltdown Total Frenzy. And yes, we are in Europe today. It's going to be a fantastic day journeying into the warfare with our amazing European friends. I'm Goj. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm excited to be back with you for another Delta Force broadcast. Before we go anywhere, I want to remind you to download Delta Force right now. And, well, frankly, you can do it on just about every single platform you can think of. Of course, you can get it over there on the website down below me, but also head over to the Epic Game Store, maybe even head over to Steam, or guess what? We are live on mobile, folks. Delta Force is on mobile. So I want to give you an opportunity to download mobile right now because it's very, very simple. When we've got two giant QR codes on the screen, folks, Delta Force Mobile is officially launched, and it's also allowing for cross-platform progression and so much more. You got to go experience the ultimate AAA FPS on mobile. It truly feels like PC level graphics quality. I've had a blast playing myself, so get your hands on it. You can get it here, obviously, in the iOS, Apple, and the Android Google Play Store. So check it out. And fun tips and tricks, by the way, with QR codes. If you're on mobile watching this broadcast, you can just screenshot that and then click the QR code. Super easy, but of course, you can always scan your monitor. So we've got a bunch of fun rewards with Delta Force as per the usual. So as we're kind of going through this, I want to remind you that you need to pay attention to all major socials because Delta Force has a ton of them. We're live, frankly, all over the place. And also, they always have events like this that you might be able to get involved in. So make sure you drop a follow on all those socials. You can see all the links down below, but there's also a ton of stuff out there on fandom and the Discord. The Discord is where we source players, drop news. There's frequently asked questions there's dev roundtables there, so make sure you join that Discord. A great place to get involved and experience Delta Force in a brand new way with potentially new people in the horizon that also like playing the game as well. Now, I know we've got rewards, so I got to talk about those in the in-game processes because all you have to do is sign in to get some of those rewards. So I want to take a look at a couple of these images here. One, we've got drops active here in Twitch, so all you have to do is watch this stream for a couple hours, or any of our streamers that are playing today also have drops active. So head over to their channels as well and make sure you redeem all of your drops. Look how many things there are that you can earn, by the way, gear tickets and all that good stuff, but also in-game rewards by just signing in, not only on mobile but also PC. We've got a graphic for this. Let's take a look at it. We've got a ton of stuff here, as you can tell, up to 150 weapon and 21 vehicle appearances wait within this season. You just gotta sign in, you just gotta lock in and make sure you're playing Delta Force. All right, so really excited about this one. Just log in and make sure you're paying attention to all the in-game events. And also, I know you've been asking about operators. We've got a ton of new operators, obviously, with Knox just recently joining the horizon, but also you can maybe catch up to some of your friends who have been playing for a while. If you haven't played in a little bit, log back in and you can earn these rewards just by logging in each day. Here they are. Here are the different operators you can earn, and also in that battle pass. And then here are the 7-day login rewards for weapon appearances. We've got vehicle camos and so much more. So tons of things going on just by playing the game. The first 7 days, folks, this is where you need to truly redeem all these free rewards. It's a great time in Delta Force in a brand new season. This is always what they do with these new seasons. I'm excited about future content updates as well. So tons to talk about, of course, with all of our amazing rewards, but we've got an incredible event on our hands, and we're about to get straight into the action. So I got to bring back Spider Tiff back into the booth with me yet again for another broadcast. This time we are in Europe, Tiff, and I'm excited to get back into some more warfare action. How you feeling?
I'm so ready. I had so much fun on the NA version of this, and to see what all of our European creators are going to adapt to, especially with trench lines at night, because we know how chaotic it can be getting flanked from all different sides. Maybe they'll come up with a different game plan that we saw over in America.
Yeah, hey, that's a great shout. We did have a North American broadcast on Warfare not too long ago, just a couple days ago, actually. But today is all about Europe, and it's a little bit of a different format. So let's take a look at that format and see what our players are going to expect, because today we've got some new rules, some new things for people to pay attention to. We are obviously in Warfare, as the title suggests, 20v20, but we've got some different game modes, some different rules we are situating. So first and foremost, it's going to be a Luru versus D-Wolf this time around in the very first round. round. In the second round, we're going to be doing a snipers only round, which I think is going to be a ton of fun. You're going to see a lot of snipers and some marksman rifles there. And then finally, our last round, Saniva only. So talk about riot shields, talk about ways to block bullets, talk about some maybe even grappling guns. We got all kinds of things about to happen with our first 3 rounds of amazing warfare action. But we've got some prizing as well for our players, and I gotta say, this one's gonna be fun to watch and try to track, because here's a couple different ways people can earn things. One, we're paying attention to who the top squad on the day is. Do you think you can think on your feet and get the most score in these 3 amazing rounds of different rules? Well, if you do, you're going to be walking away with a ROG monitor, 27-inch monitor, by the way, 4K, 240 hertz, exactly what you need in order to secure some more dubs in Delta Force. But here in the middle, we are headed to Threshold for our last round. And if the players are able to trigger the brand new Threshold critical event, they do all earn 5 mantle bricks and quantum keys, which I've been loving. Hunting down mantle bricks 5 for free would be nice. And then also, we love guided missiles, folks. Every broadcast we do with Warfare, guided missiles change the game, obviously, and also are a huge, huge boon for the team. And so as such, if you can redeem, basically call in one of those guided missiles and at least get 1 kill with it, boom, $50 cash for each missile you call in. There's a chance you could call in several. Maybe you call in a missile every single map, once per map, and you're picking up $150. So lots going on there. Excited about this one. But let's take a look at the teams, Tiff. And you can talk to me about a couple of the players you see today, because yes, we are in Europe. And I think for our first set of squads, it looks like we got some heavy hitters here.
We really do. If you look at that Trilux squad, I mean, the majority of this team, German, creators, influencers, all of the above, and they just like to have a really good time. But I'm also looking down at a lot of players, especially on the Just Lolly roster. They have historical competitive experience across a variety of battle royale style games. So bringing it in for Warfare, I feel like that's something that they'll easily adapt to. And then I kind of keep perusing around. I will say the same thing, kind of going over there on the Sway roster. They are really experienced in the FPS genre and have put a ton of time into Delta Force to try and, you know, come out on top on these things, especially if we're looking for the top squad to give them that monitor, which is crazy work for me, because we're talking about some of our teams that we have seen in particular and how many kills they can rack up across 3 to 4 maps, right? I'm talking hundreds. That's the level we're looking at.
Yeah. No, that's a great shout. I got to shout out my boy Preep Walker. I think he's been a top slayer in events we've done in the past, but definitely paying attention to that Trilux's squad. But let's take a look at the other 5 teams they're going to be playing against. You're going to recognize a lot of these names as well, because first and foremost, Locklear squad. I mean, talk about heavy hitters. We got Locklear, Mikkolo, Mel, Psychop. We are cruising for a bruising. These players, very, very strong Delta Force players. Locklear has participated in, I think, like 4 or 5, maybe 10 events at this point. I don't even know how many he's done with Delta Force. Loves this game. It's always a blast having him, so I'm excited about that squad. And then secondly, my guy Stallion's playing today as well, leading squad number 2. I think that'll be a squad to watch. Stallion is a multi-FPS freak. Dude is different, and really excited to have him back with us. But all of these squads have some heavy hitters. All of these squads are people that just frankly love Delta Force and are part of our community. So streamers, content creators, community members, all of the above playing together today, and possibly against each other as well. But of course, I'm going to be paying attention to our German influencers on the first team and our French influencers on the second team to see who comes out on top. Here is our map rotation, though. We're starting with Trench Line's nighttime mode again. If you didn't see this in our NA event or haven't had a chance to play it yet, super cool. We're going to be seeing that in attack and defend in our very first round. And Tiff, I got to say, I think our first round is going to start pretty soon. And then we're moving to Threshold for that critical event that we talked about. So I'll be curious to see how our teams do today. But you and I both casted the last event, so we're about to jump into this very first map already. What do you think about that nighttime mode of Trench Lines? Definitely changes the game a little bit, and if you do have some night vision you can throw on, super helpful.
Yeah, you definitely have to make sure that you've got the scopes available to be able to get extra vision, but surprisingly, the graphics surrounding the night mode is really impressive. So you don't feel like it's completely blacked out, but I will say once you have the fires and like you have the ash that's kind of like going through the air and stuff, it's gorgeous. But the problem is if you're just focused on moving ahead, there's a really good chance for people to flank around. Now, mind you, we had that new operator that we were testing in our game mode specifically, so everyone was on the hunt and sneaking and we're changing things up in map number 1. You already talked about it. We have Uluru versus D-Wolf, and a lot of people feel comfortable on that assault operator D-Wolf, so I feel like we're gonna get some aggressive action, like always.
I think it's gonna be really fun. It was so funny because we watched the NA version of this, and yeah, we had Knox. People were kind of creeping around, slow peeking corners. When you're playing D-Wolf, the goal is to fly around the map as fast as possible, activate your tactical sprint, and just get active. And using your AT4, I think vehicles are gonna be a little bit less valuable this time around. Uluru also has some pretty nice gadgets that you can use to be able to take out vehicles and set traps for others. So I'm excited to see what these players are able to do. Engineer, assault, which one do you prefer? But we are hopping straight into it and see which one comes out on top, folks. We're gonna be paying attention to all that our creators have to offer, but we're gonna be starting out here with our amazing German friends that are started out here with Denzel & Co.
I was like trying to see what we've already locked into. Got the AKM that's taking you down. I mean, look, if you're getting started and this is your first time, or maybe you haven't dropped into trench lines at night just yet, just getting kind of situated with your squad. Now, mind you, work with that team of 4 to get as many kills, bring in those guided missiles, work on those prizes. But we already talked about these scopes, and they are going to make such a difference.
Yeah, if you have a thermal scope, definitely valuable when it comes to running in the nighttime mode.
Still breathing. Take it easy.
As you all can see, as expected, triple blaster coming into full effect already. As per the usual, D-Wolf makes a huge difference when you are able to lay down this amount of covering fire. But our good friend Locklear on main stage right now, running D-Wolf as well. This team is ready to rock and roll.
Eh oui, mais oui, ils ont tous leur compte.
Ah, ça y est, j'ai réussi. Appuie sur B, ok.
Non mais Pilou, si on va sur nos comptes en vrai, il va dire quelque chose.
Ok, c'est bon. Je suis en auto.
Concentre-toi, mais je te sens pas très concentré là.
N'oubliez pas de péter les roquettes quand vous les voyez voler là.
All right, so hear me out, Goj. They're being very strategic about this, and they're going to tweak some of their settings here, but what we're noticing is while you're trying to hit the defense, taking these angles and kind of wrapping around people is brilliant. You can see here just D-Wolf, we're charging up that triple blaster. I feel comfortable if you need to make a play based off that, but a lot of these weapons in the mid-range are going to be so much more powerful for them.
Yeah, and today you're going to be able to see a lot of players pick their favorite loadouts. For the most part, obviously, we're going to be dictating snipers only or marksman rifles in the next round, but I think for this one of my favorite things they added to Delta Force from a UI standpoint is being able to copy and paste a code that shows your loadout. Like, so sick. So if you see your favorite loadout on screen, some of these players trying some new things out, definitely take a look at that streamer's perspective. They're all streaming their own POVs, obviously. Most of them have drops on as well. But yeah, everybody's kind of getting tuned up, locked in for the very first point here, trying to capture point A, which it looks like they're starting to do finally.
The tank, man.
Yeah, no.
Brief check in there with Mel, but I just hear people, as soon as we come over to Stallion, it's the tank, man. The tank is here. As soon as you see that happening, if it's not on your side, you have to attack it with full force.
Yeah, I think the interesting part about today, especially for this first round, is that the tanks, I think, are going to be a little bit easier to take out just because you've got D-Wolf. He's got access to the AT4.
When he gets away, and then I just get fried by like 5 people.
I think our good friend Stallion was trying to figure out exactly how to approach this point and hold it down. And he was saying this, every time I shoot at somebody, I get shot back at. And I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, especially in Warfare, especially on defense for the first point where you have to spawn a little bit further away, the attackers definitely have an advantage. And there's a lot of folks to take care of.
Yeah, the tank.
Oh, no. Yeah, the tank is being pretty effective right now, Tiff.
Okay, at least we're seeing double-digit kills for some of our teams there on defense. Back on over to Locklear. Now, you were right, 100%. Delta Force Grinder, I was watching some clips of him playing the Black Hawk Down portion of it and just having a ton of fun. But getting that respawn back on in.
Attends, on peut plus détruire la missile.
Oh, no. Not the chaos coming in.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you're going to stand on the points, which it does look like the attackers, which is going to be that Traux's squad in their full team, they have taken point A. If you are standing on the point and we've got D-Wolves galore, Ulurus galore, get ready for these little missiles you see flying over Locklear. That's Uluru's kit. And get ready for the triple blaster. That's going to be D-Wolf's kit. It's going to be absolute nuts on these points of just constant explosives in trench lines. That makes it even more fun.
You said fun, and I'm looking at Preep right now. Let me just tell you, you know what you want to do when you want to breach the actual trenches itself. Just sending this battle tank in with the high explosive shells, picking up double kills. My man is looking for a massive scoreline. He said top squad, okay, bet. Yeah, we've got hundreds, it feels like, of rocket launchers on the other team, but no one is addressing this team. He's kind of playing the perimeter and just clearing a lane for his team to try to push up onto these points. I know one thing about Preepwalker, and it's that he loves to be the top fragger in these events, and I can only expect he's going for that today. One of the ways to do that, get the tank, and also get the tank and keep it mostly in safety, which is what he's trying to do, kind of playing this back line and not getting too terribly aggressive.
Objective Bravo 1 cleared. Stay front.
Te levanto,
I love that free cam look over the top of the trench lines. These first couple points are obviously pretty difficult, I would say, to get any sort of real sight lines on because they're actually trenches. And so finally, we're trying to just kind of push lane by lane with the team and see where we can get to.
Podéis respawn si estoy muerto. Estoy aquí cerca de punto.
Tu vas adorer ça.
I'm just glad we don't have to worry about deep trauma today. Breaking out Knox and having that kind of affect your regen ability regardless. We get picked apart here, but I love that we got to tune in briefly there with Toons Gamers, one of our creators over there from Spain. And oh, Psychop. Okay. Let me just tell you, big experience and a lot of shooters, and I'm ready to see him fry. Has played at pro level, so I expect good things.
You can see Preepwalker's take off into the distance. Psychop, though, is laying down some serious covering fire, able to pick up several along the way, too. Psychop does not play around. This dude is different.
Oh, no.
Finally gets cut down, but doing really well for his team.
When you say doesn't back down, that is 100% accurate. I have seen that man contest so many times when he really wants a specific POI on a map. So you bring him over to Warfare, and he's going to be like, oh, yeah, you want me to grab that sector? Done, dusted, I'm challenged.
I love it.
Oh non, pareil, frère.
T'inquiète, t'inquiète, je vous reste pas. T'inquiète. Je vous reste pas, les gars, vous pouvez respawn.
Oh, t'attendais pas, du coup.
What I love about this Locklear squad is something I always see with Locklear when he plays in these tournaments. Great comms. They are constantly calming. They're constantly sweating. They're trying to hold on these points, and they've been able to do so. You can see that our French friends here are on defense, and they have fully re-locked back down B1 and B2. The attackers are stifled right now, Tiff.
Hey, and we're just at like 300 tickets. We drop it into the 20v20. You still have those 400 tickets still available, but I love that we're checking in here with Kerberos. I was watching some of her stream earlier today to see kind of where she was prepped at for. She's been a streamer for about 4 years. Also learned chef. I don't know if she's still a chef right now, but she's definitely going to be cooking here in Delta Force today.
I love it. Well, back to Preepwalker we go, and back to the tank we go, continuing to lay down covering fire and finding angles in the trenches as players are trying to hold sight lines. He's trying to hold down, I think, which I suppose it's right trigger, or rather right mouse button. Release the tank shells, gentlemen, because he is going to be there for a while if nobody deals with it.
I'm farming points, guys.
Let's go farm those points. That's what we need to hear, especially to represent Germany over here. And especially if you want those guided missiles.
Yeah, it's a great shout, actually, Tiff. I think, as a reminder with guided missiles, you have to call them in via, like, the support systems, essentially. You earn points throughout the game. You can then call in vehicles, call in artillery strikes, and then, of course, if you can save up enough, guided missiles. And everybody knows that if I call in a guided missile, I win $50. It's great.
Je cover B2, moi je cover B2. Je me suis fait éteindre.
Bon les gars, je trouve qu'on n'a pas beaucoup de kills. Et j'ai envie de tenter un peu plus fort.
Ooh. I was gonna say, imagine this angle being super cheeky. Pull 1 or 2 from it.
Je tire trop vite. Je suis en 1-9. Je suis désolé.
Y'a une voiture à gauche, t'as vu?
Defense is really doing a great job right now. You see that there's this tug of war as per the usual when 2 points are active at the same time, where the attackers maybe focus on one more than the other. They take that and then they push to the second point. Maybe it's B1 first, then B2. But as they're trying to trade these points, the defense is able to hold them down almost entirely. You can see B2 finally going their way to the attackers. We've depleted a lot of these lives, though. We've depleted a lot of tickets for the attackers right now. I think the defense is technically winning this. Finally, though, as you can see this from Mr. Bunny's screen, doing a pretty good job of trying to address this next point and set his team up for success. They've got to hold down B2 first, and then they might be able to play for B1. But the angles at which some of these players are finding him, I think a little bit frustrating. He isn't able to figure it out yet.
I mean, we're just hitting a montage of people getting laid out. So hopefully we can turn that around, picking up some more of our players to preserve those tickets. But Stallion said, I'm going to get Mixie in the trenches.
Right, don't know where he's gone. That's just my bad. The two guys want to spawn kill us a little bit. I got you on that res, bro. I'm going to try and get you anyway.
They're on the right side.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, they're pushing above the bunker right now. The tank here, though.
Great team chemistry from these guys. Look, it's so fun because some of these creators and streamers like haven't played with each other before. They were put onto teams, and I was watching the Discord, and these guys were like prepping. They were talking about what they were gonna do. They were gonna hop in voice channel together, and so excited to see what that team's able to do. I'm excited to see if they are gonna be able to hold it down and potentially take some of these points. But as we swing back to Locklear's POV, it looks like they are trying to recap these points, and they're able to do it here on B2. Look how close it was for the attackers. You can see top, middle in red. That means the attackers are taking these points.
Ah, il y a tellement de gens, ils sont rentrés.
Oh bordel. Ils sont rentrés où?
B1, ils ont tout repris.
Ouais, B1 c'est pas très grave, mec. B2 c'est le plus dur. C'est le plus dur pour eux. B2, faut juste camper dans un corner, Mel. Campe dans un corner.
Ok, je respawn sur Lock.
Campe dans un corner, Non, y'a un gars dans le bac. 2 encore. 2 sur mon cadavre.
Ah, j'en ai tué un, mais je me suis fait tuer par l'autre.
Not the flank that takes him down. I love the retreat out of the bunker itself, especially when you have a lot of those resources coming through from the attacking side of things. But Toons Gamers now on your screen, trying to avoid the rogue vehicle, still gets taken out, and immediately you're just like, where? That is the biggest question when it comes with trench lines at night, right? You think you're doing everything right and you've got the focus, but there's always that one squad that is looking to get in your back line.
Я заезжаю в point. Мне в point нужно. ПТС. Меня закидывать пытаются.
Well, as per the usual, Preep Walker has got some good cause for his team, but is this time, I guess, a little bit more aggressive, trying to help the team out by getting a little bit closer onto these points. But still in the tank. No one has been able to address this tank in a significant way. I think he had taken some damage, but is doing a great job of backing up, healing. And right now, this is just, I mean, it's a... You know, when you've got a 120mm high explosive shell coming right at you, it's pretty tough to deal with, regardless of what class of character you're playing, what operator you're using, or anything in between. But they are still trading these points here, Tef.
I think that's kind of where I'm thinking about it. If he's maintaining the structure in the tank and just keeping the pressure on the defense, we are at a essential deadlock, and how are you going to change that? Especially when you've got this individual squad just in the entire center of it all.
They truly are on the point. I mean, you couldn't be any more on the point than Locklear is right now.
He is the point.
He is the point.
Impossible, frère. Oh mon dieu.
Ok, viens pas, il y a un tank, il y a un tank.
Oh, wait, do you see the vehicle over there, Ghosh?
It's actually a great idea. Get the vehicle actually on the point. And I think this is an attacker vehicle. It's also going to let people spawn on the vehicle if it's not in active fighting, which it probably will be most of the time. But if you can back it up a little bit like this player is right now, this is actually a really good strategy to get players on the point as fast as humanly possible. It's working out really well.
Can you see that we're just going on board with the vehicle themselves in the trenches? If you just like back it all up and you see this is the chaos that is happening here, just trying to get through the B sectors.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you are running a vehicle that you can drive up and not risk getting taken out, I mean, sure, helps your team out a ton. But B2 still the last legs of it being held down. The defense doing a fantastic job right now. Somehow, some way. See Mikkel on your screen right now. Doing a great job of staying on the point and trying to cover the back flanks through these corners. This is just bodies on point. They are doing it. Somehow they have taken back B2. This is crazy.
Full molly, full molly.
N'oubliez pas les smokes, n'oubliez pas les smokes, les gars. Pas les smokes, n'oubliez pas les smokes, les gars.
Yes, Mel, I feel that. That's very relatable.
Allez, les gars, il y a 120 tickets encore, les gars. On peut le faire. Allez.
Oh non, sur mon côté. Oh, le timing. On perd tout, on perd tout, on perd tout.
Non, on reprend bien là.
Allez, faut spawn sur lock, allez.
Dans la petite cabane, ils ont repris une petite cabane.
I think, Tiff, you and I both speak just a tiny bit of French, and I think I can understand most of these comms based on the urgency at which they are said. We've got to protect B2. It was so close, but now take a look at it. B2 fully captured top middle. Red is going to be your attackers. They have held them to almost about 100 lives left. They've done a fantastic job.
Let them take the
But it's finally time to let them take the spot and move back to the new sector.
So we can get more
Still
points.
a great work, though.
All right. Play around this. I like this angle. You pick off one, you find a double kill before getting traded out. You're at 30 kills, which is phenomenal here, specifically on that side of things. But pop in the vehicle, you try to get to that next sector. You can see we're going to be heading towards C after finally taking B, but we're going on maybe a different pathway here. We don't want to just approach from the front. We are rogue.
Yeah, and this is something we always see when it comes to trench lights. Oh, okay.
That?
Well, I wasn't expecting the triple splatter on point, but hey, where else would they be? We always see that B1, B2 extremely hard to take. C usually goes by very quick. C is a lot harder to defend than the other points. And so oftentimes players will try to, do the best they can for 1 to 2 pushes and then say, okay, let's go ahead and back up and play for points D, because it's just gonna be a lot easier for us to set up a true defense rather than kind of scattered and fly in. Now, you were taking a look at that leaderboard a moment ago, Tiff, and I gotta say, we already see a player, I think it was John DeBomb there on the left side. It was at 43 or something like that a little while ago, probably up near 50 kills already. They are flying around this map.
Look, if you're sitting north of 50 trying to grab that 100, that's going to be on that Yellow Love roster with Mr. Bunny TV. And Yellow Love has been grinding since January and beyond. And the last I saw was like trying to hit top 500, probably did at this rate, especially at the way they're playing.
Like, all he does is he gets in the car, finds people, gets out the car, and just keeps going. Like, it's I don't even...
That's right. Vehicle gameplay is super valuable when it comes to warfare. Time to swap to the rocket launchers. Ladies and gentlemen, AT4s galore. I'm ready for them. Swap your loadout, pick up the AT4, and make it happen. We've got to take these vehicles out or we're going to be in trouble moving into point E.
Hinter euch an einem Truck.
The hill we go. Looking for an angle around from the distance. See, that's brilliant. The fact that we can see across the way, because smokes plus night mode can make things a little wild. But the issue is we're taking these shots cross map and we can't even focus on the people that are like flanking us because I get locked in like that too. I see someone, I'm like, this is my person, I am taking them out. And then I miss the right side.
Yeah. Well, with Alluru, you can build your own cover, as it were. So might as well start doing that. Figure out how you're going to get to the next point and make it work for you. You can see as we continue to swap between different perspectives, all of our players rocking slightly different weapons potentially on this first map with the same operators. Alluru, D-Wolf, Assault, or Engineer. Which one do you prefer? Chat, do you guys like Alluru or D-Wolf better for operations? I think I'm partial to D-Wolf, Tiff, just because Triple Blaster, swap it to AT4, like super valuable when it comes to, you know, blowing up vehicles and just frankly blowing everything up. And I like to be able to sprint, I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's fair. Also, it's one of the first operators that I ever played when it came to Delta Force, so I just have that bias of more time on D-Wolf, so that comfortability comes through there. Plus, you can hit that slide, which makes me feel really cool, especially on trench lines, because if you're just like aggressively running towards someone with that motorized exoskeleton, you hit the slide and then you just triple blast someone. Just combine all of the things just for a real subtle, in quote, attack. So subtle.
Yeah.
No, there's coming over the wall,
Yeah.
Over the wall.
He's dead, never mind.
I got you.
Go.
Combative in objective Delta 2.
Well, this is one of the strongest teams on the day from what we can tell.
Right side trenches, a lot of them.
Strategic beacon deployed.
I'm behind us. I have nuclear zone.
Allied forces are
Kill 2 on the
engaging at
trenches.
objective
Nice.
Delta 1.
Definitely helping out their team to be able to secure these points.
Here, another shotgun.
Yeah, behind
So
us.
far, pretty well done. They're definitely in the tug of war right now, but this is one of the teams we have to watch throughout the course of the day today. A really strong team. John, the bombs on that team. Yellow Love, Mr. Bunny, TV. I mean, they've got some heavy hitters that are dropping some of the highest point values on the day, at least thus far. But guess what I'm seeing in the kill feed there on the right-hand side, Tiff? I'm seeing Creep
More
Walker.
vehicles?
Yeah, I'm seeing Creep Walker still in the tank, is what I'm seeing. So we
I think it's his new home.
Yeah, I don't know that he is going to leave the tank for the rest of the game, and as such, is probably not going to get too terribly aggressive to make sure that he doesn't get blown up.
Wait, what? Where the fuck did he come from?
Mr. Bunny, just be careful, chat guys here. Nice. You.
Get up, boy.
Wow.
Yes, sir. There's another engineer.
Get up again, boy.
Get me up, my man. Best medic for you. Let's go.
That's the kind of hype you need. That is it, Goj. Especially if you're working with your squad. It's like, best person EU, best medic EU. That's needed.
Look, I'll call my teammates best anything, EU, NA, whatever they are, even if it's not true, just to hype them up, because I like to get people excited about what they're doing. Unfortunately, I think he is correct. I think this is one of the best medics EU. This is a great team, but continue to check out some of our other squads. You see Ganzi, Creatix on our screen right now.
Oh my god.
Doing a great job as well in the defense. Still holding down what looks like D2. They've lost D1, so the attacker's definitely going to be swinging on this point aggressively soon. The question is, do you stay to defend or do you reverse capture that point back?
Transporter. Tank on D2.
Oh, our first guided missile on main. Here we go. I think it was Yellow Love, one of our top slayers today already. Dropping the first guided missile. There it is. That'll do it, Yellow Love. Not only getting 4, 5, 6 eliminations, I believe, but also $50 in your pocket. Congratulations.
Now do it again.
That's right.
Keep them coming. Keep them flying. I told you. We were expecting really solid things out this. Breaking that out. Immediately repositioning. And they're already keeping their tabs open for that tank before getting tabbed there. Within the top 3 kills on the squad. But back on over to Psycop here to see how he's working on the defensive side of things. Brilliantly. Brilliantly.
Yeah, look at the two tanks swinging around the ice outside of D2. This is about to get very hairy for Locklear and co. They are getting flanked by two tanks. We got to make a move on these vehicles, gentlemen. Take them down, whatever it takes.
Bei mir im Chat geschrieben, über links kann man besser flanken. Auf D2.
Ja.
Ja.
There's Preep right there. And we're holding the back line. Holding a heady if we can. Let Preep just send it into the sector itself. Good luck, have fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is worst case scenario for our Frenchmen and the defense. D2 is under siege by not only the entire attacking team, but also two giant tanks that seemingly nobody's able to get the better of. A brutal way to lose both of these points. I wonder if our defense is going to quickly be able to try to retake D1 to make sure it doesn't go to point E. Not yet. They'd like to dwindle down these lives a bit more, but right now, top middle, look at it. D2 about to get captured. Yep, there it is. Uh-oh, we're on the last point. And attack have 300 lives for this one. This is going to be a difficult point to take. The defense spawned very close to it, so they're going to have constant numbers advantage, but you have two tanks. Let's see what they're able to do, Tiff.
Die haben Panzer da oben.
Allez, mange-toi ça. Quelqu'un prend des munes, s'il vous plaît. Comme ça, je les spam de javelin, c'est débile.
Ok, je prendrai les mines après moi.
Ah merde, faut que je meure. Oh, T-Cop, t'es trop bien.
Je te mets des mines, moi.
I feel like it said need more ammo, but I can't remember my French, my 8 years of French gauge. I'm working on it, I swear, but gets tagged from the right side of things. And the last we saw when it came to Trenchline's night mode, everyone that was trying to get through E, it took multiple guided missiles coming on in order for them to completely evict the defense. We saw such a standstill here, very similar to what we witnessed when we were just at the very beginning of this with B.
Et on peut les tuer dans les camtas.
That's a great shout. At point E. Oh, we've got some more guided missiles being launched. Get ready. They're about to drop down on point E. And frankly, this is usually what happens with point E. It's actually a really difficult point to take, but guided missiles can change the game. That's Cretix dropping a guided missile on main stage at $50 going to Cretix.
Vas-y, encore.
Il est mort à gauche. 50 euro for me. Let's go. Geil, und wir haben noch dreimal die Chance, das noch zu machen. Also wir könnten theoretisch hier $200 noch bekommen. Also 2 Nukes in einer Runde ist nicht möglich, weil die Nuke kostet dann doppelt so viel. Also jetzt in dem Fall 36.000. Und 36.000, jetzt noch 36.000 niemals. Deswegen pro Runde eine Nuke. Also noch 3 Runden werden insgesamt noch gespielt. Also es ist machbar. 4 Nukes insgesamt. Wir haben eine sicher. Geil!
400 points.
My rocket. You jumped.
Did I just hear 400 more points to another guided missile? Is that what I just heard, Goj?
Yeah, if we see another guided missile here, it's going to be... Oh, we hear the sirens. Good luck. I knew there was going to be a ton of missiles for the late game of this one. We've been going a long time. And I love this free camp observer perspective. See ya. That'll work. Mikolo able to pick up a couple, and Vabatrow able to pick up a couple with the guided missile. That's 2 missiles, I believe, being called in there. So a nice win from both of them. That's $50 going to their pockets.
To the high ground we go, but we're not gonna make it! We're not making it!
Oh no.
Ich glaube, da darfst du also was machen, aber
Die wollen
du darfst halt einfach
wahrscheinlich,
nicht auf dem Spot sein, oder?
Wollen wahrscheinlich noch Money fahren.
Das ist die
Ich
nächste.
spawne bei Flare mittendrin einfach.
Du knallst komplett.
Oh, Preepwalker was able to get one too there in the kill feed. Preepwalker calls in his very own guided missile. Folks, we got a lot of missiles coming in. Gotta lock in. It looks like Physics able to drop a guided missile as well. This is what happens when you hold the attackers Another guided missile from Just Lolly TTV. Holy cow. What is that, like 10 at this point? This is ridiculous. People are raking in the cash right now. This is what happens. And here's about to be another one on main broadcast. This is what happens anytime the defense is holding long enough to where the attackers spend most of their lives. It is constant missiles left, right, and center. Another one called in. Can't quite tell who that is. Oh, it's DeJoner. DJ Joner able to call that one in, earning another $50 for him. So we've got several folks that have called them in, as well as Zinti TV. Well done. Across the board.
I feel like we're just handing out 50 each way.
Yeah, you get a 50.
Because I'm seeing people, like, the thing is, you have to get the guided missile with at least 1 kill. The majority of these people are walking away with north of 5 per guided missile, so we are getting maximum benefits, but the fact that we're trading them between the offense and the defense, it's still making E relatively stand still here.
Yeah, we're about to see another one. You can hear anytime you hear the siren, that means a guided missile is about to land. It's chaos. Oh, Locklear finally pulling out the AT-4, by the way, in the kill feed, but it is Venom, it looks like, calling in the next guided missile, picking up a triple with it. You can see Ryan here using AT-4 as well, trying to pick up some semblance of reprieve from these vehicles that are all around this map.
Oh, Rion, so close. Even having the melee out, trying to get behind the fence line, but back to Locklear to see what that squad can do.
I think I saw the kill leader on that team, 66 right now. Janosh now in a tank.
Non, ils ont le wolf, ouais. C'est une wolf.
Ah ouais, il dégoûte, frère. Moi aussi, je veux me la péter avec mon team.
Je vais sur mon team, les gars.
Moi, je suis en train de prendre la sauce. Hop.
Le point.
Ooh,
the angles right there.
Merci, quel frère.
J'ai rien sur le compte, Jostuff est niveau 1 le compte.
Well, as we are focused on the guided missiles, I will say there are still 140 lives remaining on the attack, but the defense, even despite all of these missiles, as it looks like Locklear is calling himself in one, all of these guided missiles helping, but not completely breaking through this point. So it's good to see, obviously, both teams able to call them in. But all of a sudden, we'll look up, and there's a chance that the defense is going to win this one.
I'm just waiting with this free cam to see where it connects, because especially if the defense is pulling that and you still try to take out that left-turn side, because Locklear, that missile hit right to his right. Then he starts popping through, picking multiple kills. That's our defense.
I think that was Chat 1KA that was able to get some guided missile kills, and then Locklear himself able to call in a guided missile for a triple. Everybody's using these missiles because everybody is farming for kills. And Locklear taking down vehicles as well. Did I not say Locklear was going to be locked in? They're crushing it.
On a pas de boîte de mine. Là, il y a une boîte de mine sur moi, si tu veux.
Ils sont dans la maison.
Moi, je suis pas ça, Lock. Moi, je trouve.
Il y a un mec dans le bat.
Zenox.
Ouais, dans le bat.
Zenox saves the day with a guided missile. Unfortunately, somebody's already on the point and Locklear's been taken down.
Regarde le site.
As expected, by the way, I believe this is Mr. Bunny. Mr. Bunny was the one that took down Locklear in the window on the point, making a difference on the map.
It tracks. Like, everywhere that Mr. Bunny has positioned himself has been really solid. And I've been loving the angles, the head peaks, and just using your space so that your team can keep regaining around you and you just work to absolutely eviscerate.
Ja. Sehr gut hier.
Scheiße, habe ich den? Ja. Geil, ihr nehmt einen. Sehr geil, sehr geil.
Ну там много.
Okay, Preepwalker, look at our scoreboard here. Preepwalker is, I think, almost leading the team in kills, not score. Actually, second in kills. Somebody had 71, but he's got 66 right now.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane. And more sirens still going off. Stallion making some moves in the kill feed. Let's see who this one belongs to. It's Stallion, of course, bringing in that guided missile. Not sure if it's going to help us break it in.
Yeah, Trashy drops one right after as well. They double up on the guided missiles. So that's another 2 added to the leaderboard. And I will say, a small correction, I do believe that was Rax back there and Rumthara that was up in the window. So shout out to Rumthara. You got to check out their stream. Fantastic streamer on the side of Trilix's team. Mr. Bunny in the kill feed a ton, though, and crushing it on that squad.
Fighting. Make sure that we get the final victory.
En vrai, il rentre pas là.
Stand your ground. Defend.
Ping les chars, les gars, vraiment.
We've seen a lot of people play around that broken spot in the wall, but Stallion equipping in that motorized exoskeleton, trying to speed boost around. Can we pick up 2? No, grabs 1, gets traded on out.
And
playing out in the open, a little bit risky, but definitely can pay off if you're able to be cracked enough. And I think Stallion definitely is. He's already called in his own guided missile, so be curious to see if we can figure out if anybody will kind of pay attention to the kill feed and pay attention to all of the rockets being launched. There's a chance we might see our first person to redeem 2 in 1 match potentially with the way this one's going. I mean, defense is doing a fantastic job. Lockler's picking up doubles, triples, and everything in between, holding down the point. But there's only 37 lives left for the attackers.
Oh, about to be under 30. Defense holding steady. I was gonna say we need a guided missile, but I don't know if Locklear bringing in a guided missile is gonna be a good idea for the team trying to break in.
26 frags, les gars, on n'en parle plus.
Oh, il roquette dessus. Oh, ils sont tous en bas ici, quoi. Tank.
Je crois qu'ils sont...
Sounds like a couple folks are realizing time is winding down. Instead of trying to save for the guided missile, they're calling in the artillery strike, which I believe is the second highest that you can call in. Definitely deadly. You know, you're not going to get the sirens as much, but you'll get the voice call out that the artillery strike's coming in, and it can take out a whole area. Still, though, this is Mikolo and Trilix's teams going head-to-head.
Attention, Scop, t'as pas un missile?
Non, les missiles après ils coûtent 2 fois plus cher.
Il me manque 50 points pour avoir un petit missile de merde.
Non mais les gars, le bois.
Oh my gosh.
9 tickets.
An alert call from Locklear. You gotta stay on the point, my friend. Look at it. E is actually trading hands right now with 7 lives remaining. The attackers have an advantage. They are pushing the equation. Look how many bodies were able to get onto the point.
Oh, Psycop, you gotta go big here. You gotta stay in there. Get in, live. I've seen you take down north of 5 people and you're not done. No, Mel's still alive though.
J'ai plus de munitions.
All lives lost in overtime. The point being taken.
Go sur le point, putain, non!
Bon, elle était longue la première game.
On a même pas nos classes, heureusement.
It literally couldn't have gone any longer. It couldn't have been any closer. What a first round tip. That was nuts. I mean, we got not only like 15 guided missiles. I don't know. I hope somebody on the back is watching that one because that's going to be tough to track. But also, it's insanely close. We go to overtime on the point. It turns out teams were pretty evenly balanced because, my goodness, it came down to the last final milliseconds there. And it didn't look like Locklear's squad or anybody else was able to lock down the point fast enough to be able to stop the overtime and potentially take the point back and get the win.
I mean, you hear the calls coming in. You know they've got to get back on DE. And immediately Psycop responds. He tries to pick up 1, 2, 3 people, finds another, gets traded out. I'm like, okay, well, Mel is still alive. Hopefully this gives enough time for Locklear to get back in there on the redeploy. Unfortunately, just misses it by, what was it, like less than 20 seconds? We just had a 37-minute match and it comes down to an overtime like that. My jaw dropped, Goj. The fact that that was the first map of 3 that we're seeing today, I'm locked in.
I love it. I mean, we got to see D-Wolf, we got to see Allura. Let's take a look back on that map. Maybe you just are tuning in and paying attention. Well, let's take a look back on that one and see how it went, because it truly was nearly perfectly even between these two teams. And frankly, one of the reasons the attackers were able to frankly, finally make it past B1 and B2 was on the back of Preepwalker and his amazing tank that he kept almost all the way till the end. It was kind of insane how long he was able to stay in that thing, Tiff.
Just a Preepwalker in their tank. That's all you need sometimes. Get some moments from the Kerberos there, and Creedy, who called in, I believe, at least one guided missile and was finding a lot of moments within the top 5 or so on that kill leaderboard. But this is, I think, where things started to turn around for Locklear and his personal squad. They were the point on B. And no matter what they would do and how much they were providing a lot of defense there, it was such a standstill that we didn't even see this get broken through for at least another 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it definitely, their longest point they were able to hold by a pretty sizable margin was B1, B2. They almost did it there, and then finally everything else kind of just trickled down. Once they got through the first couple points, the Frenchmen were on their heels for sure. And then we got to point E, here comes all of the guided missiles. We had tons of them. We saw the first couple there from Mikolov, Vabatro. We saw Tilia there on the replay, but just guided missile upon guided missile. You're like, hey, why is everybody calling in guided missiles? Well, frankly, that reason right there, they're just so dang powerful, but it's also a part of our pricing. Every guided missile you call in is $50 to your name. So definitely a great day in the office if you're able to call a guided missile in, but also it helps you win games and get more score. So definitely a win-win.
Especially when this is the run that started it, right? It was like right after this is where things started to get really wild. And here comes the vehicles. At least we're taking them out. Leave it to Locklear to say no more vehicles in my space.
And a couple more guided missiles. Stallion was able to call one in. We watched Stallion's perspective quite a bit. And then the final couple moments here, they thought they had it in the bag. They pushed off of the point, and it was just enough of a window for their opponents to hop back onto the point and secure it in overtime. You saw it there. If you have any progress on the point and you are out of lives, there's an overtime timer that starts. I think it's about 1.5 minutes. And if you can secure it within that 1.5 minutes, you are going to win the game. So that was what was able to happen for the attackers there. So big shout out to Trilux's squad and the entirety of the 5 teams that are on his side. They've done it. They've won the first map. But I think the big question in my mind is which team had the most score. I can only expect it likely to be the Yellow Love Mr. Bunny team. They've got some really strong players on that squad. We saw them near the top of the leaderboard on kills, but a lot of math behind the scenes and a lot of score reporting to make sure that we track that progress. And again, I don't know if anybody in chat was counting them out loud. I want to say there was like 10 to 15 guided missiles on point E alone, which was nuts to watch out for. I'm sure we'll be paying attention to that in all the rest of these lobbies as well, because every map that you call in a guided missile, every missile you call in, you're making cash today. So yeah, wild stuff. But it's top squad today that's going to be winning those monitors, Tiff.
Ooh, top squad. I mean, we're keeping our eyes out, and that's the top squad across all 3 games, correct?
Yeah. All 3 games, you're going to combine the score. Top squad on the day is winning those ROG monitors. 240 hertz. Come on. This is what you
27
want. 27 inches. On. Yeah, it's perfect. It's exactly what you want. So pumped about that. But then again, we're playing, the next map is going to be Trenchline's Night again. They're just going to swap. So now we're going to be able to see Locklear's team attack. They've probably noticed what was working well in the first map, and we're going to be seeing if they do that in the second map. The difference, though, as we move into map 2, though, is that we are going to snipers only here, Tiff, which means you can use marksman rifles and sniper rifles. That's technically the rules. That should be the only weapons we use today. Of course, we'll see what our players are able to do with those weapons. I've got favorites. I play a lot of operations. I've been seeing a lot of M700s. Obviously, if you can pick up an AWM, that's fantastic as well. But I'm a big sniper rifle guy, especially in Warfare 2. Like, I'm on the back lines. My scope is glinting. I'm hard scoping. It's nuts. But I do think, based on the way Trench Lines works, we're going to have some folks that have built out some close range marksman rifle builds. You're going to either do no scope on them. Maybe you're doing something like an ACOG or a 3X on them instead. And it's going to be a lot of wrist flicking and, frankly, who has the best aim. It's going to be nuts. And I'm excited to see what these players are able to do with the Tiff.
Well, especially if you're going to be kind of working around these trenches, right? So it's making sure that if people are bouncing around and coming out of the bunkers themselves in the sectors, is using the windows of opportunity. Like, you see how a lot of people, when they go on defense, they're like standing inside the bunkers and trying to use like these really small head peeks. But if you know where they are because you literally just played on the defensive side of things, take angles that are going to allow you to snuff out all of those people inside so that you can just claim that space for yourself. I don't know if this will go as slowly as it did in game number 1, considering they were at a standstill. When you bring the snipers into it, I think it leaves a lot of room for air, unless they are getting those quick build marksman rifles to bring out for closer range.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to have some players that are playing. There are obviously people in this lobby that play like I do. There's like a lot of players in this lobby that enjoy a good sniper experience. That's just part of the game. It's a part of Warfare. It's a part of what we love about this style of game mode, is getting that satisfying like ping sound when you get a headshot from 500 meters away. It's the best. But on trench lines, especially those first couple points, basically through B2, those long sight lines aren't going to be that valuable. Defense maybe for the first point. Once we get into B1, B2, it's all trenches all day. And so unless you can somehow find a way to get a little bit of high ground, maybe that's climbing on top of a tank to snipe down into the trenches. Otherwise, it's going to probably be a close range encounter, marksman rifle type vibe. And I think that's going to be difficult for some players to adapt to. But some of these players love doing weird stuff like that. I know Locklear has showed us a ton of builds on his stream. I know all of these players have played a ton of Delta Force. When it comes to Warfare, I think they've got some secret strats that I'm excited to see what they're able to do with. There are no restrictions this time, though, Tiff, on operators, from what I understand. So as such, we could be seeing more smokes. We could see stingers back into the mix with the double smoke. You've got the smoke that is a straight line, and then obviously a normal smoke. We also could see Lunas this time around. Obviously very strong right now in the quote-unquote meta, or guessed meta, if you will, or estimated meta, which is being able to ping where people are on the map very easily with the recon arrow. So yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot more this time around, and maybe somebody will break out Knox, because they're pretty dang good. We saw them in the NA event as well. Being able to use them in Warfare, pretty strong.
Yeah, I was actually really curious. I know a lot of people feel comfortable playing that assault operator Viren also, so maybe we'll see more of that come through. But if you're going to be playing Knox, though, that is the new operator that just launched with Season 4, Eclipse Vigil, and you kind of saw a lot of the trailers that we've been throwing throughout the broadcast, but that whole kit that he has is insane. It is made for night. It is made for this map. So you can throw in, especially with Warfare, deep trauma, it takes so much longer for your health to regen. So if you get dinked by a sniper and maybe it hits your shoulder, it doesn't take you completely all the way out, that regen is going to be so slow, not like super slow, but definitely slower than typical. So you're gonna have to pop on out of cover before getting back into the fight. Plus, when you have all of the entirety of the discs, right? The whirlwind discs, those will take you out, inflicts wounds. Next thing you know, you can kind of use them to section off if there's like multiple people in one of those like bunkers throughout the trenches, especially if you're laying siege to like those earlier B1, B2s.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good shout. I mean, we have a ton of operators. We'll probably see some hack claws, really strong for trench line as well, being able to, access that ultimate where you're able to hunt down your opponents. I don't know. It'll be fun to see what these players decide to use and what they're excited to use, because I think everybody has their personal preferences on which operator they like, which is why we love Delta Force, right? It's a totally unique way of playing these style of games, is having these operator abilities and everything in between. Definitely still going to see some Malurus and definitely going to see some D-Wolves. D-Wolves is a tried and true classic. But let's take a look at some of the scores from the last map, because again, we're tracking several different things here. So let's look at it. We had great scores across the board, but there was one team that was significantly out on top, and as expected, we did a little bit of mental math. We knew they were going to be up there, and it's that Yellow Love team. Really well done from this squad thus far. These are some Warfare experts for sure. They've got a ton of kills in this very first map and a massive score line to boot, almost 40k over their opponents, just because of the way they were able to execute on that last map. And I think one of the things we saw, Tiff, from that top team was their ability to get into the mix, but also stay alive. They were able to pick up so many kills, but also stay up and help each other to stay up by getting rescues. So pumped about this. But talk to me about some of the other teams we see on our top 10 list here. Obviously in third, my eyes drawn to Locklear's team, who's not far behind at all.
I mean, look, if you're going to be on the defense and being the point itself, and that standstill on E was impeccable as well, that's still really impressive. But what I'm noticing is that Yellow Loves, you know, we're north of 40K ahead of people and relatively similar kills there on that Sway roster. But you've got teams 2nd through 4th place in general vicinity, even squad in 5th place is right there. So if we still have 2 more maps, anything can kind of start shifting here, but trying to breach that gap between 1 and 2 will be difficult. I think now that Locklear's team isn't going to be kind of isolated into the point itself, it gives them room to be aggressive, maybe bring in some of those vehicles that we witnessed the attacking side try to pull on them in map number 1. And maybe I'm talking about Preep Walker, okay? Because Preep was just having a good time in there, racking up a ton of kills for sure. So that's kind of where I'm looking at it. But if I'm also want to give a little shout out here to Trilix down there at the bottom. We go again. You got that map 1 out of the way. This is where you start bringing it to the table.
Yeah, I'd love to take a look at our teams again and remind everybody who's playing with who, because these are the squads we've been talking about. Stallion there in 8th, like you had mentioned, Lolly there in 7th. And this is the team that we're talking about. Trilix was a top 10 team in that last one. Trilix playing with Rumathara, who we saw a lot, Rumathra, and Rox there as well, Denzel there as well. Really strong team. But then it was that Sway team with Preepwalker that you were just mentioning that's up there in top 3, right there with Locklear, right next to them, actually, right behind our top team. So I think those are kind of some of our top teams to watch out for on this side. Let's swing over to the other side as well. The thing that I'm looking at here also is we're looking through the different teams, is how many of these people we saw in the kill feed drop a guided missile. It was astronomical. It was almost every single one of these players. DJ Joner down there in the bottom of G3OX's squad. Kretix dropped one. It was kind of nuts to see how many people were able to rally up their score lines high enough to a point where they were able to call in a guided missile. But, you know, big shouts to, of course, Locklear being one of the top teams of the day and the top team from his entire side, which was pretty impressive stuff. Locklear, Mikolo, you know, Mel and Psychop, well-established content creators for a variety of different titles, but they've played a lot of Delta Force, and it is paying off. They were in 2nd overall, I believe, 3rd overall, 1st for their side. So really cool stuff, Tiff. And again, the Yellow Love team is the best team today thus far and likely will be, but who knows? Maybe attacking this time will show us a little bit of different results. Who knows?
I mean, it should. It frees you up. But then I say it frees you up, but it's snipers only. So like how realistically, how free are we? Like, what are we going to be witnessing? This is where it's something that you said at the top of the show is really going to connect back for maybe some of our creators that are a bit newer to Delta Force, right? It's those build codes for the individual snipers. Now, if it's not my first time playing, but if it was and I was dabbling into this, I would be running around to these creators that have been grinding Delta Force since alpha, since the drop, and have been putting out so many builds. You just go in their chat and you'd be like, all right, sometimes they have commands for them. You find the code that works best for you. Maybe it's going to be that SB98. Maybe it's an AWM. Whatever you feel comfortable with that you have unlocked, that's what you get from them.
Yeah, what's super interesting too, I think, about what we're about to get into is that it is going to be marksman rifles, it is going to be sniper rifles, but there's still vehicles allowed on this map. And so as such, I think it's worth mentioning, we got to think about which operators we can use that can take down those vehicles so that we can keep sniping and taking everybody out on this map. One of those operators is definitely going to be Viren. He has those charges he can throw out. It's a great way to, frankly, take down vehicles pretty quickly. So I'm thinking that if you go Viren, you're going to have a really good chance here. Viren, and then I mean, I suppose a Luna here and there is going to be super valuable, but you've got to consider those vehicles. We saw how valuable they were in that last map. I don't think a lot of people in that last map took initiative enough to take care of those vehicles quickly. So as much as you want to complain that the vehicle's strong, hey, guess what? They're very easy to take out if the team works together a little bit. So let's think about it. Let's process. Let's get some Virens on the map. Let's throw some charges out and we'll be good to go. You can keep sniping until your heart, well, frankly, not till your heart desires. Basically until you've captured all the points, Tiff. That's how it works. So yeah. I don't know. I'll be curious to see what these teams are able to do with that in mind.
I think it's going to make E a little more challenging as well if we can even get to that far, which I hope we can, considering all of the cover that we see from those initial buildings. And if you're trying to avoid Oh, actually, now that I think about it, with the credits you need to bring in the guided missiles itself being that 36,000, if you're not getting a ton of kills in those earlier rounds, or maybe you steamroll through it, we may not see as many as we did in game number 1.
Yeah, no, that's a great shout. I think that's probably going to be the case, but I also don't want to underestimate any of these players and what they're able to do with the marksman rifles and the sniper rifles. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I think I was looking through some of the team channels and everybody's talking strategy. They're trying to figure out what they want to use. I'm seeing like VSSs. I'm seeing, I think, mini 14s in here. And oh, look, John DeBomb's even in chat right now saying the same. Locked in right now. But yes, it is marksman and sniper rifles for this one. And so, yeah, they're like dropping codes for their favorite builds for weapons. It's awesome. I'm loving it. So we're about to jump into this very next game and get into the action as quick as we can. Big shout out to all of our teams playing today. There's some great weapons of choice. And a reminder, take out those vehicles as fast as possible. Stop messing around thinking somebody else is going to do it. I know you. I play a lot of Warfare, and I've done the same thing. You're like, you know what? I like to play Warfare the way I like to play Warfare. I'm just, one of my teammates is eventually going to take out the vehicle. It'll be fine. I promise it's not going to happen. Take it out yourself, all right? Take initiative. It's what your team needs if you want to get a win. Let's tune into some of our creators while we're getting the lobby ready to go. They're picking some weapons. They're picking their operators and trying to figure out which marksman rifle they're going to be able to use and, of course, which sniper rifle. But it looks like Locklear might be going for Sanifa in this next one, which I think is actually a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, 100%, especially if you look at map number 3 when we are going to be playing with the majority of Saniva only. Why not get that extra bit going forward, right? The grapple gun, the razor wire, just all the things there for the engineer operator itself. But I love that we got to see moments of the weapons that we were talking about, especially with people dropping by chat. And then I thought for a second you were calling me out on the Warfare playstyle. You're like, oh, you're the person that would forget to actually shoot the tank because someone else is, you're just gonna assume someone else is doing it. I was like, oh no, dude, shots fired, seriously? But I was like, then again, you know me so well. You know me so well.
Well, I do, but also, I just know that the general you, like everybody out there does the same thing, all right? You play Warfare and you think that your teammates are gonna handle the problem and they never do.
Right.
Just do it yourself, all right? Get your operators ready to take out the vehicles. Period, end of sentence. It's what you got to do. You know vehicles are powerful. Blow them up with your teammates, all right? Let's actually have some teamwork in this next one to make sure Preep-Walker doesn't drive all over us with a tank. But yeah, we're jumping into this game as fast as possible. Let's take a look at maybe some of our other players that have some loadouts cooking up right now. As it looks like, ooh, okay, Mini 14 as expected being picked up. I think we're trying to set up a couple loadouts here if we can. Between maybe a marksman rifle and a normal sniper rifle, because again, what we're talking about is which one do you use for more closer range encounters and which ones are you going to use for more of those longer sight lines. I'm thinking at point C. I think point C could potentially not be as quick of a point to cap as some of the points we've seen in the past. So when you've got 600 glints looking at you, it might be a bit more difficult, Tiff.
I know, he's like testing it out. What's going to fire the best? What is going to feel the best? And I think that is a really smart thing, is to adapt based on which sector you're looking at, right? Knowing that you have a long way to go to get to the initial B1 and B2, maybe you want something that's going to cover more distance and have a bit more power. But hey, we're leaking codes on chat here. If you want this build, go back in time, pause it, type it on in, test it out for yourself. Let us know how it works for you, but more Mini 14 action.
Yeah, this is also what I was talking about. How cool is it that you can go to a search bar, type in a code, and it tells you all the attachments to add to your weapon. You hit accept and they all get added to your weapon. Like, talk about literal hours saved of going through trying to figure out exactly what each thing does when somebody else has already built this for you. We've got some amazing Delta Force content creators out there, and maybe you in chat, I see you talking, maybe you're one of those creators, or maybe you're just a community member. It's like, I think I have the best build. Post it on socials, tag it in the Discord, show us your builds. I want to see them. You can @ me on Twitter right now if you want. It's Goj. You can find me GOJJ anywhere. I want to see your builds, all right? Because end of the day, the best part about I think this code thing is that everybody has their own preferences, and you can build out your own weapons as you see fit. So we'd love to see all your favorite builds. Look, I want to give you a moment here as we're about to jump into map 2 to do exactly that. Obviously, go to Twitter or X rather, and at me if you'd like to share your build, but also go follow Delta Force on all those major socials. You can at them as well. Maybe they'll share your favorite builds out on the timeline for everybody to see. They've already done that with a lot of our creators in the past. So make sure you go drop a follow. They literally are live on every social you can go live on. And we've got insane Discord set up for creators and the main Discord that has almost 500,000 people in it. So if you want to go get some friends or maybe make some new ones, go join that Discord and follow Delta Force on all major socials. They've got a ton of content always coming out on socials about news, events, and everything in between, and also opportunities to get involved in events like this. Maybe your friend is playing right now and you didn't get a chance to because you didn't fill out the form or follow them in the Discord or follow them on socials. It's not too difficult. It takes about 5 seconds. Go handle that. Wherever you're watching this broadcast as well, if you'll drop a follow, that would be great. There's a ton of more events coming down the line, including some esports competitions that I think are not just down the line, like tomorrow and Saturday. Folks, it's a big Delta Force week, and we're having a blast talking about it and can continue to talk about it throughout the course of these next couple broadcasts. But yeah, make sure you drop your follows because Delta Force has a ton of things coming down the line. Now, Tiff, we're jumping into game 2 here shortly. We are staying on our night trench lines, and we have swapped attack and defense. I want to remind everybody about the format. So, first and foremost, we've got now our Frenchman, Locklear's squad, on attack and their entire team. And the other side, the German folks, our streamers with Trilux's team, they're going to be on defense this time around. Now, if you missed the first one, the attackers did win in the battle of Aluru versus D-Wolf. But this time, and it wasn't overtime, by the way, this time, it's going to be snipers and marksman rifles only. So we'll see if maybe we're going to get attack and attack wins. If maybe our attack from last map is going to win on defense this time, I don't know. Only time will tell, and we're about to jump into it.
I'm ready to jump into it. Did we see anyone else that built something other than an M14, like the Mini? Did we see that?
Yeah, Mini 14. I don't know. I mean, Mini 14 is definitely my choice for the close range combat.
100%.
Again, we've kind of been yapping about the difference between some of the longer sight lines and closer sight lines. If you're forced to use a marksman rifle or a sniper rifle and you're playing trench lines, B1, B2, I mean,
sure,
you gotta have a Mini 14. It's brutal. I mean, it's so strong, and if you can pull the trigger fast enough, which I think most people can, you can shoot that thing super fast. I think that's gonna be a really good shot at where you're gonna find a lot of value in B1, B2. The rest of the sightlines, I think you could open up your different weapon choices. So I have to assume, Tiff, that most of our players are building out 2 loadouts right now, and one of the reason that we're waiting on them to finish things up, because I think you're gonna see some of those like M700s and things like that for the longer sight lines. But I don't know. I'm excited to see what our players are able to do and the choices that they make. That's one of my favorite parts, is you can always get some variety on the map with your operator choice, weapon choice, and anything in between, Tiff.
We really could, but honestly, I think our creators here have locked it in. I mean, we're seeing some really high levels on that weapon, especially with this marksman rifle in particular being specialized for close to mid-range. If you're going to be in trench warfare, actually, then you want the one that has going to be the best rate of fire, allowing for that, quick ADS that makes you feel comfortable just getting aggressive, because that's what we saw a lot of our players doing. And now that they're switching sides, if I'm watching someone be hyper aggro on defense, what are they going to do on the attacking side of things? It's going to be even more chaotic. But we did see a lot of people still electing to go for the engineer operator side of things. Hopefully someone brings out a stinger, like you mentioned, in their personal squadron to at least help them preserve with the smokes, and you've got the pistol to kind of keep on, whether or not you just want to self-heal yourself and move on forward.
Yeah.
Just be kind of that medic warlord. That's what I call you.
And look, Stinger is, I mean, he's got to be one of the most powerful operators in both modes, frankly. I'm a big fan of Stinger in operations and in warfare, just because of all of the different smokes you can throw out, frankly, and the healing prowess. One of my favorite things when the game first launched that people started figuring out is that if you throw a smoke and then you shoot your therapeutic gun into it to heal, it creates a healing cloud, which is so dope. And at this point, that's like old hat for our warfare players. Like, of course you could do that. But when the game first launched, everybody was like, this is the craziest feature I've ever seen added from a healing and support standpoint ever. And it's very valuable when your team is holding down a trench lines all packed into a tiny room inside of point B2 while the attack has taken point B1 and are sprinting at you. Just stand in the healing cloud. It's going to have so much more survivability. You're basically going to be tankier than your opponents, and you're going to win some of those gunfights if you're pretty decent. So I think Stinger is actually a really good option. It's just not going to be a great option for taking out any of those vehicles. So as long as we've got some variety on our side, we should be good to go. Now, I think we are waiting on our final player to get things going, and we are dropping into the game here within the next 60 seconds. We've talked strategy. We talked different options we may or may not see. And at this point, we just have to wait and see what these players are able to do. As a reminder about our leaderboard, though, we are tracking several things, which is, one, we're tracking our top squad. And right now, that is going to be Yellow Love's team. They're at the top of the leaderboard by a decent margin. We'll see how they do here with snipers and marksman rifles. I'm thinking probably pretty good. Second, though, is on the side of Sway. They're doing really well, and mostly on the back of Creepwalker, who was in that tank most of that last game. And then finally, third, Locklear squad, trying to jockey for a top spot. And I think notably, take a look at Locklear's kills versus Sway and Yellow Love. It's a dramatic difference with only a 3K score difference because Creepwalker got a lot of kills in the tank, but not a lot of points because of the objectives. Locklear squad, they were playing those objectives the entire time. They rallied up a massive score line because they were fighting on objectives. So very well done from the side of Locklear's team, and I'm expecting them to do a lot of the same here in game 2. And finally, game 2 is ready. Let's jump into it, Tiff. I'm excited to hear what our players have to say, and we'll listen into some of their comms as they jump into game number 2 here just shortly. But yeah, these are the squads to watch out for. Here we go, jumping into game.
Give us the goods, give us the deets, show us all of the loadouts that we're going with, and hey, a full squad of Lunas potentially. Hey, we talked about it. We know how strong Luna can be, and if you're gonna main it, go for it. But we pop on over to Locklear, and I'm looking at, you know, a multitude of people. At least one Luna on the squad, but a lot of the same.
Je crois que j'ai même pas la M14, frérot. Je te cache pas, je n'ai pas la M14 là, je mitraille là.
Ah, à gauche.
J'ai une Scar, mec, j'ai même pas la M14.
On sait une Scar.
Kill 4.
Allied troops neutralizing objective Alpha.
Yeah, this'll work. The barrage coming in for the side of Yellow Love and Co. They knew the objective. The objective was get a vehicle ASAP. This is gonna be a tough one to take out, not only because of the range at which it can shoot, but also they're just sat back in the back of this kind of almost spawn-like area. This is a vehicle that's going to be very tough to take out.
And then I'm seeing Hack Claws and an Alluru, just whatever you feel most comfortable with that is going to let you fly and fry on the attacking side of things. Because mind you, their performance that they had in map number 1, that was on the defensive side of things. So knowing that this kind of frees them up to start shaping up what we saw. Especially Creepwalker, who is no longer in a vehicle. But don't worry, just give him like 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can see SVD there taking out Creepwalker. A lot of Mini 14s. Saw the VSS there just for a moment from Yellow Love. This is the Mini 14 that most people are deciding to go for. I'm a fan of the Mini 14 as well. I think it's pretty strong.
It says pretty strong and just needed to add one more bullet to the mix there, and that would have been a down. So, I mean, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, thermal scope is so strong on the nighttime mode here of trench lines. And then, of course, Luna able to light up targets for you as well.
You get that guy behind that rock? Say it, I'm covering you, I'm covering you. I don't know where the other guy is.
Yeah, just push fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna push up.
Bro, shout out to Stallion. He was cooking at 300 FPS, by the way.
He's playing in the future.
That's right.
Nah, not today, boys.
Not today? Okay. I mean, look, if you're going to take a note right out of Pre-Walker's book that we've switched sides of things, but look at the pressure that is coming through. But when you play as an engineer, immediately keep that vehicle repaired and in the game for as long as humanly possible.
Rockets on the left side. Alright, we're good. 12 seconds selected. Getting missile launched at me. Okay, hit me once. We're good.
Our vehicle has been marked as a high threat.
Yeah, makes sense why this team decided to go for the engineers as they try to swing. Here's the thing. They got to capture this point. Like, they're farming kills, certainly, but they are on the attack this time, so they need to secure some kills. This is a Luru's missile. He's able to get a little bit of some recon before he gets shot out of the sky.
Quick reps.
We got you.
That's like tournament, boys.
They're missing so many rockets, bro.
Did he just say they're missing so many rockets? Like they're not able to connect onto our vehicle?
Yeah, sweats.
Yeah, this is gonna be
These guys are sweats. Bro. I love it. They are getting involved, but they've got to capture the point at some point. I wonder when the designation will be. Let's wake up. Let's push the point.
Coming in on left side. Putting active up.
This is wild.
Also, if you like what you're seeing from your creators here today in the Warfare Meltdown Total Frenzy, can we just talk about how we have a birthday goal at the top of the screen too? A lot of them are all streaming. You can find this. 2 days left on it. So make sure you set a reminder in 2 days to go sing
Mec, c'est ça.
to Yellow Love.
On a trouvé mon gars.
T'as envie, Mika? Heureusement.
Ta mère.
Putain, il m'a planté la flèche, quoi, ce connard. C'est comme en bas, c'est comme en bas, c'est comme en bas.
Ouais, je me cache l'équipe.
Look at Ryan, and they're trying to defend this point, but looks like he was pushed. Finally, the attackers have taken the point, and the defense is going to have to back up. Covering fire from the tank was a bit too tough to deal with. Now, this is what we're talking about. We're moving to B1, B2. These points traditionally are pretty difficult to capture. And frankly, playing with marksman rifles in the trenches is going to be fun.
I think Luna is so brilliant to bring here on trench lines for night because with the enemy analysis, anytime you damage someone, you're getting that initial outline so you can track them even better. And then if you're coupling it with a thermal, perfect.
Moins 53.
Je suis sur le chemin.
Frère, je vais te montrer comment on fait, monte. Monte, du lance.
Ok, c'est parti.
F2.
Ok, je suis dedans.
Je te montre comment on fait,
Oh, pétard.
En haut, regarde en haut.
Je pense. Non, je peux pas aller là.
Ok, ça tombe.
Non, je vais
à
pas
gauche,
faire
à droite. Oh, salut toi.
Ok, on va aller dans les tranchées.
Well, not a tank, but certainly valuable. Looks like Mel was taken out while inside the vehicle, but Psychop is going crazy from the gunner seat.
Ok, on va aller dans les tranchées.
Vehicles can be customized as well, just like your weapons can. You can choose some of the weapons that each vehicle you could or potentially spawn in would use, and of course an anti-infantry gun, very valuable.
Objective Bravo 1.
All right, we're seeing two here on the back side of your screen on the right, and they're kind of working together, but we pop on over to Pre-Walker, who's fresh off a quad kill. Give him a pentakill as he is working his way through the trenches on defense, making sure, hey, no, I'm gonna make this best standstill possible, considering he was on the top 3 squads on the scoreboard after map number 1, looking to take down Yellow Love's roster at the top.
Yeah, this VSS is cooking, though. Look at this thing. I mean, he is crushing it with this weapon. VSS is one of my favorite weapons. I've actually used the VSS quite a bit in operations as well and enjoy it. And whatever his build is, I've got to copy that. Holy.
I bet everyone's about to copy it. We're all just going to start stealing it. Thank you so much, Pre-Walker, for experiencing this live on main so everyone can just go and run and grab your custom code.
Yeah, actually DMing him afterwards. if you watch this back, Pre-Walker, please DM me. You've got my Discord. Give me the build.
Enemy located.
I mean, with the 30-round mags that he's got in it, too. Like, I'm just looking at it. You're getting the majority of this full auto fire as a marksman rifle. It can have a slower bullet velocity, but the way he's using it, kind of in the trench lines, getting into people's faces, he doesn't need it to be long-range engagements because we are looking for maximizing our close range.
That's right. Well, our attackers, you got Kretix on your screen this time around running Luna. Getting some info, throwing the shock arrows out. There is one. Nice hit. Able to clean that up, no problem. Running the SR-25. Not a bad option as well. Oh, that's direct hit. That'll play.
What? Dude, the M14 is so fucking overpowered. The fuck?
M14 is pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely does some good damage.
That'll do it. That'll do it. There's a lot of people using that weapon too. So not a whole heck of a lot of people with that SR-25 in their hand. And there's a lot of people that are actually not even taking the long distance snipers, mostly building those close range marksman rifle builds like we were talking about just before this map. But back on over to Preep, who's just been an absolute nuisance with his VSS.
Yeah, take a look at our sectors right now. Both under attack. It looks like the defense is slowly taking back B1 while losing B2. This is pretty standard for warfare. Tug of war, always in effect. Which one do you defend? We'll be able to at least hold 1 point, though. And they're doing a little bit better job. I mean, this is what we expected on B1, B2. It looks like some of the vehicles have been finally taken out. Well, okay. Maybe not all of them. Besides this one. As per the usual, Yellow Love, making sure that they're going to try to stay at the top of the leaderboard. But Ramthara here. Just on your screen.
Yeah, no.
In the trench is safe, besser.
This is our squad that's running a full stack of Lunas. Very typical.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they're going to have the information unlocked, that's for sure. And we always say information's power. So, hey, why not? I respect it.
Was war das denn? Ist das auf meinen Kopf gesprungen?
At least they were working those angles. Very, like, I will say one thing about that squad in general is they're so good at just making sure they're not overextending and erring more on the cautious side of things, which is great when it comes to preserving tickets, but also in the operations mode as opposed to warfare.
Yeah, very true. Ooh. M14, that's Locklear on the other side. A brutal cut down there. Our German squad and our Frenchmen are going head to head.
Außerhalb gespawnt, da ist direkt ein Panzer neben mir gefahren, perfekt.
Ja, da war ich gerade auch, glaube ich. In der Nähe meiner Leiche sind viele Gegner. Ich bin hier Mumit oder Muslim.
This is a Denzel looking to pick up a couple with the M14 as well. Oh, very close.
What?
Very, very close. I think it was a 1 bullet difference. Maybe a headshot there from his opponent maybe made the difference, but these fights are crazy. I mean, a hipfire makes sense. I think that's the thing. Like, they're so close. The hope is the hipfire. There's a little bit of some spread, but claymores all around. Definitely don't want to just be sprinting through. Oh, that person was hard scoping. That's a classic.
Oh, okay. We're connecting for a couple shots right there, but still looking to get close range. On board here with Locklear yet again.
Tué en une balle au snipe.
C'est la tête, hein. Tête ou haut du corps, je crois peut-être.
C'est que des assists.
Okay.
Allez, allez, Sikop.
Mais ils ont... Je comprends pas les réguliers là.
You got this thing on full auto.
C'est que notre squad à nous, on est.
Non. En gros, toi, t'as.
M14 built like this. Locklear knows what he's doing.
Comme des snipers, mais c'est des
On a perdu B1, les gars.
Je comprends pas les réguleux là.
D'accord.
Ah, c'est que nous, c'est que notre squad à nous, on est.
Non. En gros, toi, vu que t'es niveau 1, t'as pas débloqué les armes qui sont comptées comme des snipers, mais c'est des AR.
On a perdu B1, les gars.
It's one of the things we talk about often, Tiff, with these broadcasts and these weapon builds and things like that. Is one of the things with Delta Force is that you can just about build any weapon into a different type of weapon. There's so many varieties, different ways you can build weapons. I think there was some map done at some point, and there's like crazy permutations. I don't even. It's like millions of options between all of the weapons and all the attachments you can put on them. So you can see this M14 is built like an AR. It is crazy getting full auto like that. Enough attachments to stabilize some of that full auto, so it's less recoil than a traditional M14. Like controls important. There's a ton of different stat lines you can do. And it's all like statistically data pointed in the firing range and in the way you actually build the weapon statistically. So very, very cool weapon UI building system.
Зафлешил.
Well, back to C we go, and Preep Walker is opting to not get into vehicles. We are defending by ground. We are taking all of the angles that we can and holding from a nice mid-range here, which is just working out so well for them.
Свой у тебя есть. На мне есть.
Yeah, so far so good. It's got the Hat Claw operator, which I also quite enjoy. You can see you can actually literally track down enemies. See how many people are close. Oh, that's a Saniva. That's a shield. Good luck.
Behind again. They're doing back repair.
Yeah, I see him. I'm capturing right now.
Why are they here though? That's so weird.
Breaking down buildings here on C.
Kill 2.
Love to see that. John DeBomb getting crazy in the kill feed here. Playing alongside Mr. Bunny, Tilia, and Yellow Love, which we've been seeing so many good things out of them just from map 1 alone. And now that we're here with seeing them on the attacking side of things, we're making, I would say, quicker progress than we saw in map 1.
No, and let me. I agree.
Go, bro. Yeah, the vaulting is really weird.
Doesn't look like they're gonna have too much trouble taking point C, as kind of per the usual. Back up to 400 lives as well. It looks like the attacker side advancing quickly towards the end of this map. We move into D1, D2 again. Point E is where the defense is going to be spawning closest to the point, which means it should be the easiest to defend. The problem is guided missiles are going to be part of the conversation here shortly, if not very soon, frankly, going into points D1 and D2.
And friendly reminder, if you just joined us here on the Delta Force channel, that is what we're looking for. A guided missile with at least 1 kill will net yourself 50 euros, okay?
I got active on this thing.
Huge.
Right.
For every single one of them.
No, wait, hold on. I gotta drive behind D2 and get a beacon in their spawn, boys.
Yeah, I'll join you.
Ooh. Okay, I respect it. So it looks like teammates are driving around the side of the map, going to get over into the kind of flanking position, and then you can drop a respawn beacon so your team can spawn there. These are some of the strats that we're getting kind of a sneak peek on in this, you know, crazy total frenzy event, the Warfare Meltdown, that you're probably going to be seeing at some of the like esport level competitions as well, is trying to figure out how to spawn your team correctly to be able to have the advantage in some of the fights where you usually would have a disadvantage.
Yeah, full blind. Нормально, фармите, ПТС. На wышке sieht снайпер. На wышке sieht снайпер, где я марканул.
Ach, hinter uns kommt ein Panzer. Ja, Mann, ey.
I feel like we barely peeked right there for Preep Walker and gets laid out, but on over to see what we can do now that we keep on advancing on. Bring it out. But I feel like every time some of our players are trying to make a play, we just get completely taken aback.
Yeah, the tank is going to be a problem here if nobody switches to operators that can take it down. I mean, Aluru's got some missiles to him. He's got, obviously, D-Wolf would have been nice to potentially throw some triple blaster action down range. You know, we got a ton of different options. Virons, charges could potentially take down vehicles. Got to get creative here, but Denzel crushing it right now with the M14 as most are. Fortunately, shot in the back because we've got an anti-infantry gun in the Sactilia.
En gros, il prend une voiture et on peut respawn tout le temps sur la voiture.
37 hauteur. Quoi?
Watch out for beacons here.
Smart call out. Love that. Back on over to Yellow Love.
I'm hacked the lure rockets as well. They missed.
Well, that's a flank. A nice play from Yellow Love to kind of weed out some of the numbers and give his team an advantage. Picking up some on the flank should give them enough of pressure to be able to take at least one of these points. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. D2 falling to the attackers currently.
Allume-toi.
Allied troops launching an assault on objective Delta 1.
I like how we start with the hip fire and then immediately kind of lock it in with the ADS as well. It's like you're just like, we're just taking out whomever. Investing some equipment back on board here. Stallion, tree in front.
Oh my god, it's sat down. Oh my god, I might actually be good at this.
Hey, yo. Hey, Stallion. My guy. Playing with a true sniper rifle, making some waves. My goat.
I look at menace down here, bro. They keep...
Keep it going. Keep it going. Stallion, that is what we want. Everyone in a world full of marksmans, be the insane sniper. Okay, Mel, SV98 in hand as well. Trying her hand to see what she can do.
Look, this game, Warfare is all about having fun. And I have fun when I'm sniping. I'm right. Stallion and I are gonna duo up after this event. Like I'm about to have a dang good time sniping with my boy. This is gonna be fun to watch. But I'm ready to get my hands on a sniper as well. SV isn't bad, especially if you build it correctly. It looks like we got some decent attachments on this one. Partial to some of the snipers in operations like the M700, frankly, right now. But even still. SR25. We're seeing a decent variety, but M14 definitely proven to be one of the best.
J'avais pas pris nos comptes et qu'on était tous au sniper.
Avec les snipers éclatés là que tu m'aurais donné?
Ouais.
Ok, oui, j'aurais chialé mon pote. Faut prendre maintenant, il a mis un
sniper versus M14, frère.
By the way, Tiff, I don't know if you just noticed, but John DeBomb just cleared the entire point with another guided missile, and I believe John DeBomb, the first guided missile on the second map. And I'm pretty sure he dropped one on the first map, so he's up to 100 at this point.
Oh, John DeBomb living his best life here on Warfare. Excelling. Oh.
Ok, je vais aller reprendre des 1.
Objective Delta 2 is ours. The enemy has captured objective Delta 1.
We are locked. You just saw that coming straight for Locklear, and I don't even feel like there was time to react to it, but back to see what Stallion's up to. It looks like he's going to be sniping from a different angle this time around, and multiple people in the sightlines.
Yeah, and I think I might have heard another guided missile called in, but I don't think it connected on anybody, so it won't actually count towards that pricing. Keep an eye on that. Guided missiles very easy to hit on point E. On point D, you got to try to figure out where the opponents are currently at. Are they trying to counter push you? Are they trying to hold down the final point?
Already on for a nuke here.
And it sounds like the sirens are running.
There ain't no way.
He's not using a sniper. He's using
an
SMG.
And we'll see what he's able to call in or what he's able to do. But again, Stallion is just piecemealing people left, right, and center.
These guys are using are actually insane.
They don't count as marksman.
I agree. The builds are wild. And this is one of them. Locklear's got a great build on his M14 that is apparently quite valuable.
Oh non. Il a décidé tout le monde sur le DR.
T'inquiète, ça m'arrête là, je commence à être trop chaude.
Ah, pick-up, ça arrive, fais gaffe. J'en ai tué un, mais il y en a un deuxième.
Si y'en avait qu'un deuxième là, frérot. Là, c'est la guerre mondiale.
Bunker.
I feel like we lived a lot longer there than we should have. But also, I thought we were going to get kills for that. And I'm so shocked that Locklear wasn't able to get one on the board on that push.
One of our beacons got cooked.
Là, c'est la guerre mondiale.
Yeah, this is probably the second hardest point on the map. Maybe the hardest point on the map, pending how many missiles you have for the last one.
On avait tout et on s'est fait reprendre.
But they have got to figure out which point they can try to secure. Again, you got to capture both here. And right now, Psychop doing everything that they can to try to pick up a couple. But D1 going back to the defense. They are holding the line.
I believe this is where we just saw Locklear taking defense from. You hear the sirens incoming, and you've got to say, who is bringing in that guided missile? Will it connect for at least one? Do we get another 50 euros out of it? Explosions coming through, and I think Ryan is going to be able to get out with just the right amount of time, investing a rocket of their own, looking for info, not going to connect.
So again, I think that's another guided missile that fails to connect on anyone. So that's not going to count towards any score lines. It might have been Jin connecting on top of their own head. Like maybe they called the guided missile on themselves and tried to get into the mix. I don't know, but here's a look at another one. And yeah, this is the missile. Everybody cleared the point. Very well played. And you got to think about where the player's actually going to be. Are they going to be standing on a point that they already have captured? Probably not. Probably need to pull it off to the side where they're trying to run to the new one. But even still, bummer for that person. Could have been 50 bucks to their name.
Not them denying me the chance to make money here when I just spent 36,000 on the guided missile.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bummer, but oh, okay. There's a missile launch that I think goes correctly. That's Chat 1KA with a triple kill on a guided missile. Congratulations to you. There's another one coming in. I want to say that is Tilia with a guided missile, picking up a couple. So everybody, now that this point's stalled out, everybody's starting to pick up on some of those massive score tallies to be able to call in these guided missiles. So that's Tilia. I know Tilia also dropped one in the first round, so they at least have two at this point, or I know they have two. Well done from them. But truly a war of attrition right now as points are finally... It looks like changing hands over to the attackers as they're trying to push to the final point of the day, or of the map, rather. If they are able to win this, that'll be traded wins, and we are watching that one in. That is crazy, and that is technically a single guided missile kill, but it still counts from Vabatrau. V-A-B-A-T-R-A-U. Congratulations. Nice guided missile. They're able to pick up a single kill, but a single kill is 50 bucks.
The moment of having to give up. And to be fair, we didn't see a lot of stingers here. We really didn't. Most people going Hackclaw, Luna, bringing in the engineers to try and make sure they can do something to counteract vehicles. More vehicles coming in, more explosions all the time. Psychop does connect for at least one on that, which is nice, but Locklear back on the ground here, trying to help out on D2.
Yeah, again, the decision-making of where to call in the guided missile is truly keeping these this point alive for the defense. We're not seeing a ton of value from any of the missiles thus far. There's only one that got a sizable amount of value in it. And oh, there's one, and it's a Preepwalker that drops a guided missile only on Locklear. It's the only one that get hit by the giant guided missile that comes landing onto the point because Locklear plays objectives, friends. If you didn't pay attention to his score last time, it was like 70 kills below the people in first, but only a couple thousand points down. So he's always playing objective. That guy's a man of the people.
All I want to do now is see exactly what the scoreline's going to look like after. But Locklear's back in it, finding some kills as we sit here. Yellow love. Always chat's getting into it, bro. I love those things. Crazy. They want to hype him up. Look, they're having a good time over there.
That's crazy. Right when we pull up on main, he's having a party while he's slaying out in this sweaty lobby.
das ist ja krank. Die hat mich mit dem Volt-Pfeil getötet. Wie assi ist das denn?
Den kann man scheinbar aus.
Nice pickups here from Trilix. They're actually doing a really good job kind of holding POV, or sorry, POI, and also holding some nice sightlines. They're able to pick up players that are trying to cross over. Gotta say, defense is, I knew this was gonna be a tough point, but there was a moment where their backs were against the wall, and they've almost fully restabilized, holding down D2 quite well. Trilix is crushing it.
Wie klettert man?
Zweimal Shift vor dem Obstacle. Vielleicht klappt das.
Oh.
And rezzing? Wow, this guy is just a man of the people as well.
I was gonna say, look, there always needs to be one. I don't care if you're getting traded out. That's the punishment, right? But you know what? You still did a good favor. And with only one member left on your personal squad, the regain is necessary. Back to Preep, who's just out here saying, okay, look, if you want to pop in a vehicle, we're gonna do this. And I'm gonna get hit by the vehicle. I will sacrifice myself.
And that was Trashy that just picked up a triple kill on main with a guided missile. Well done from Trashy.
Objective Delta 2 is under attack.
Let me switch my guns around here. Let me see what I got cooking.
Tell us what you've got cooking live.
Nah, Mini 14.
The attackers only have about 107 lives left, so they kind of got to get a move on.
Everyone's
That'll
using
do it.
M14s, bro. It's insane.
Got heavy losses.
Alright, I'm calling it a tank destroyer.
Do I see no connections?
Yeah, another missed one. Somebody called in a guided missile, but missed it. Playing the zone, everybody knew it was going to land right on the point, because where else do people call in missiles? And it misses.
Just ignore them.
You tried to strafe away from me, do ya?
Stallion's kind of different, I'm not going to lie. This guy's connecting on so many sniper shots.
Oh, one's running up the hill, D1. Oh, no, someone ruined my shot.
That is, by the way, another guided missile from RF5X that just came through on the kill feed.
Hopefully you don't see
it.
it.
It looks like this team was able to call in one as well, so we'll see where it lands.
Nice one. I saw that.
Oh, wow, nice physics.
But that
able
was
to pick
the
up a
guy that
triple
got me.
with the guided missile.
Ah, mais c'est trop dur. Faut se cover.
Spawn sur moi.
Il nous reste 70 tickets, pas 14.
Moi j'ai pris une nuque.
There we go. That one connects.
Faut cap DL. On a deux.
That Sway with a quadruple kill guided missile. That might have saved the point. The attack had almost captured both points. Gets a quad kill with the guided. And another one lands on point, and it doesn't look like it does much. I don't think it got anybody, actually.
You win some, you lose some. Regardless, we're moving back to the final sector here, so the defense gonna have to step things up. But hey, 174 tickets to make something happen. And can we connect? Oh, just shy.
All right, well, this is where everybody else that hasn't gotten one, this is where they're going to start picking up their guided missiles. This has been another long map, and because of that, the longer the map goes, especially if you like to save, the more you can call in these missiles. Now, again, another missile doesn't connect on anybody. I think they tried to pull it all the way into the back spawn, but because everybody had just retreated, nobody was spawning back there yet. But Preepwalker is home, Tiff. Back in his tank, ready to take on the world.
It was a matter of time before we witnessed this, and I'm really glad to see all of the ways being righted.
I've got to say, it's another big miss. Nobody's on the point yet because everybody's moving up still. However, it is so cinematic watching these missiles come in with the free camera server.
C'est gros chiant.
Ok.
Il y a des mecs close de mon spawn si vous voulez, pas direct.
Un mort.
Ah, c'est mort.
Deux morts. Et il y en a un troisième là-haut.
Ah merde. C'est là le combat. Ok.
Слева едет тачка. Вот здесь чел.
Oh, there's one. That's Venom connecting on a guided missile. That's a triple kill from Venom. That'll count. And then we remember Venom was able to get one last map too, so doing pretty well here. Tank warfare, though, the name of the game right now. And it is actually tank warfare. Tank versus tank here, tough.
Дал в танк хит.
Да, я могу вернуться.
Отлично. Танк там где-то.
I'm a big fan of tank warfare, but I just saw guided missiles launched. We're seeing the chaos come through. We got more sirens. Look, chat, if you're going to be hearing these sirens in your sleep tonight.
That's 100% the case. They've got a tactical respawn beacon, so they're going to respawn on the backside. This is what I was talking about when it comes to strategy. Again, by the way, another misguided missile. Great strategy. They're able to drive all the way around to the backside of the zone, drop a respawn beacon. Now their entire team can spawn right behind the building to push up on the other side. The entire defense is set up guarding the jump up from the low ground. Look at where Pre-Blocker and the rest of the attackers are. They can now all spawn behind point E. That's a connection from S3DOX. Sedox was able to get a guided missile in.
Hey, we've seen this angle. No, he was gearing up to take down Pre-Blocker.
It's like people jump shotting around corners and
Filipio,
stuff, like.
I believe that is. That just got another guided missile kill. That really just opened up the point.
Well,
Mr. Bunny gets like 6 with a guided missile. Holy cow.
Victory in sight. They can't hold much longer.
They got 4-wheelers, they got everything. We gotta cook the engineer behind us.
No, it was 2 of them.
Well, you grabbed one of them, and I'm keeping an eye on what chat is saying here for Yellow Love. Average Luna, free points. You know what? They're hyping him up. They're hyping him up. Love when chat messes with our streamers.
I've been crushing it. Pre-Blocker, another one of our top fraggers on the day. This is truly a war of attrition on this point, though. It's almost exchanged hands multiple times. Another missile being called in. Let's see if it connects. It probably will. Bang. Only on one, but that's DJ Joner. Able to pick up a kill with the guided missile on the right side of point E. Everybody trying to open this up. We are under 100 lives for the attackers here. And a reminder, if our defense is able to win this, it will be back-to-back wins because they were the attackers last time around.
Can we just talk about how we had that free cam of the guided missile coming in? You just have Just Lolly at the top having one of the most cinematic experiences of his life, popping off the tower before we popped over here for lock clear.
Ça a monté, les gars, ça a monté.
AD lives.
No. Dude, I was just looking there as well. He came out the moment I left.
Yeah, that always happens to me as well, my friend. Mothra, unfortunately, gets cut down. I think there's somebody behind, but don't worry, Denzel's got you. Gotta keep everybody up. Holding this point quite well.
Keep an eye on everyone up top, too.
Yeah, there's so many people in the tower. That's Foxana, I believe it is, that got a guided missile there. And all else fails. Okay, that'll work. Take the people out that are above you. Especially sniping up there would be a dang good time. But yeah, Foxana got that guided missile right on top of the building. It's a great place to call it in. You can do some damage into the building. And we've got more and more being called. It's just a matter of who calls in the right one at the right time to open up the point for your team to be able to take it. Right now, it's looking like the defense might win this one, Tev.
Does that mean they're hitting it with a nice run it back?
I know, they're about to go back-to-back wins.
I've no-scoped him and he used a pistol.
Imagine we see that actual no-scope come through. Imagine.
So close.
Just full sending trick shots here.
I gotta go in and score more points here before it's over.
Our score's quite good for now. All depot strategy as well, just to farm some score. Or maybe just artillery barrage the... Tank is hacked.
Man, 84 kills at the top. Yeah, it's so much. I mean, not only are they getting a ton of kills, but also if people use the respawn beacon, you also get score. And so they put it in a spot where nobody's shooting at it. They're just getting their entire team to spawn on them. It's a huge, huge win.
Top squad. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. All right, saw more vehicle explosions. That guided missile hits for at least 6 or 7.
Yeah, that
9.
might be enough.
9 lives left.
That might be enough to clear the point. That was Zin, I think is Xint, able to get a Penta plus kill with the guided missile. The point under duress, but not enough duress. The defense able to win. Congratulations, that's back-to-back victories for Rumathra and everybody else on that squad. Very, very well done. Getting back-to-back wins is a difficult task, especially when we limit the types of weapons you can use. It was fun to see the variety. Did it live up to your expectation? I think we got to see kind of everything under the sun, and frankly, I think just as many guided missiles as last time, or at least close to it.
I wasn't expecting as many. I really had my doubts when it came to the number of guided missiles that we were going to be witnessing. Now, however, the ones that actually qualified for the prizing were fewer and far between, but I think my MVP of the entire map 2 was Stallion, because in a world of the minis, in a world of the VSS's, my man took sniping to the next level, and that is what we needed here on the main broadcast.
Yeah, he was also hitting, man. Like, Stallion not only was kind of sticking the trend true normal sniper, but also just tapping heads. I mean, this guy was double tapping people if he didn't hit heads. It was actually, frankly, very well done. So, yeah, it was cool to see all the different builds, the weapon builds that people figured out with the marksman rifles, then actual snipers and how they were able to do. Very fun one. But, yeah, I think overall we saw more guided missiles miss than definitely the first time. And frankly, it probably was about even for the amount of missiles that missed. But let's take a quick look back on that map and the things that we experienced. Tiff, walk me through what you see, because some great overhead shots with our free cam, but then a lot of just right in the face M14s, you know, anything that you could use to try to stay alive, including the engineer who's able to keep this tank alive for a long time.
Yeah, so what I love about this is the adaptation that we saw from the beginning for Yellow Love in the roster, right? Immediately starts off on the engineer, opening things up with the vehicles and keeping the pressure on him at a distance that way. But as the map progresses, it's being able to change over to your recon operator to farm the beacons, and Preep Walker kind of doing something similar, right? Locking in the hack log, going by feet, and just fragging out for the majority of the first couple of sectors. And as we progress on, as we get towards E, dude goes back to what he knows and loves and gets himself in a vehicle.
Yeah, and it was this kind of balance of how do we get as many kills as possible, but also we're trying to farm score. And so one team that's been doing a really good job of that is Locklear Squad, who consistently pops up on our screen, is always playing the objective. It's a great way to earn score. But you're right. I mean, this squad, obviously, Yellow Love is doing a fantastic job of getting a ton of kills. But here's that look at Stallion we were talking about. Had a great spree. And then we always had some really strong guided missiles. And we got enough replays to do an entire stream already at this point with guided missiles across the board, connecting and missing. But big pickups from a couple folks that were farming kills early. But then some like these that just totally, unfortunately, whiff. That one does connect. Frankly, because I think these players are learning, Tiff. They see a guided missile, they hear the siren, they're like, well, it's probably going to land on the point. So what if we just move outside the point and stay alive? And it worked.
Not even a single one wanting to sacrifice themselves for the greater good of the prizes. Understandable, though. Understandable. And there we go. Can we get more of that? Just like only Stallion sniper shots?
Hey, he might run sniper in the next map. I don't know. You can run whatever you want, I think, in the next one. So, pumped to see. But congratulations to all of our winners from that last one. Obviously, back-to-back winners for the side of Trilix and his whole squad and everybody on that side of things. Very well done from them to be able to attack and win in overtime and then defend and win. But let's take a quick look at the scores and see where everybody is lined up, laid out, and see where they're at, because I think we have a pretty consistent team at the top, but a little bit of shuffling on where everybody else landed. Still a close race, though. At the top, as expected, Yellow Love Squad dominating today with over 400 kills between the four of them. That is now, between two maps, 100 kills apiece. That is ridiculous. Very well done from that squad, with Sway still in second. It's actually Anxiety, I believe, is maybe how you pronounce that. Somebody can help me out in chat. If not, 290 kills, but only 8,000 points behind Sway. And then G3 squad, only 4,000 points behind that at 237 kills. Locklear there in top 5 still, with Lolly still in 6th there, Tiff.
Yeah, these are getting closer. And that's what I was most excited about. It was like, if you see Yellow Love kind of at the top after match number 1, right? But what is that going to look like as we progress through our 3 games of the day? And if we're already this close, a mere 50 kill differential, about what, 50,000 points, how are we going to try and become that top squad? Because mind you guys, we have prizes throughout the day, right? That top squad is taking home some killer monitors that Goj was talking about earlier, and I am not jealous in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no, that's a really good shout. I'm excited to see who that top squad is going to be. I can only imagine it's going to be Yellow Love squads, but something could totally change in this last map. One more quick look at our last map and the way it's going to work. Let's look at our format for the day. If you've missed it, yeah, it's been Warfare all day today. It's been the Warfare Meltdown Total Frenzy, and we've been in Europe all day, and it's been a ton of fun. We did Aluru versus D-Wolf in the first round, Sniper and Marksman Rifles only in the second round. But this third round, the only limitation, besides the fact that we're moving to a brand new map, is that you have to run Seneva, which is going to be interesting. And I don't know what the strategy is going to be for our players. I don't know what weapons they're necessarily going to use. Threshold has a ton of different options for sightlines and choke points that you can hold. I think the defense is quite strong on Threshold to some degree if you can hold the right choke points. With Seneva, though, and using those shields to be able to block rounds and play together as a team, I mean, you could form some like Roman Legionnaire type formations and potentially walk your way onto a point. I think this is going to be hilarious. So I can only imagine we'll see some D-Wolves to throw some explosives down range, try to drop the triple blaster underneath some of those shields and things like that. But I think it's going to be a ton of fun to watch. And I guess actually, Tiff, now that I say that, they can't run D-Wolf, so you're not going to see any triple blasters. You might see some explosives. But Seneva, it's all about that shield. It's all about the grappling gun. It's all about that razor wire.
You got to use the whole package and see how you'd adapt to it. So it just depends on what weapons we see people bringing to the table and how they're going to use those vehicles. Now, mind you, there was that whole thing that we need to see when it comes to Threshold, right? That update that came with Eclipse Vigil in Season 4, the modification to Threshold, specifically in the C1 sector. That is what we're looking for on this final map of the day. We want to see the breakdown of the building. And once that happens, whether you throw some missiles on it, whether you bring in some vehicles and try to kind of break that all down, you will get the prize. Ghost, you want to tell them what it is? Because it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, let's take a look at that pricing, because this is what we've been talking about. Again, every time I call out a missile, it's because of this first panel here on the left. Just straight up cash, just $50 in your pocket. If you call in a guided missile and get a kill at all, you're getting $50 per missile. So we see a couple players already that have several missiles called in, so they're going to be earning $100, $150 already. But then what we're talking about is this middle panel. On this last map, everybody earns this if they're able to do this. So I think attack, defense, whoever you are, call in your missiles, break down this building. It is the critical event here in Threshold. If they trigger it where the building frankly collapses, if you haven't seen it, it's very, very cool. Every single player will earn 5 mantle bricks and quantum keys to go with it, so you can get all of your in-game rewards. So we've got real IRL rewards with cash, in-game rewards, and then of course we're still tracking to see who our top squad is going to be, to see if they can earn that ROG ROG monitor. 27 inches, it's 4K, it's 240 hertz, it's the best in the biz. Excited for ROG and everything that they've been able to bring to the table for us for this this last prize. So yeah, tons of rewards, IRL, in-game, everything in between. We're going to be looking for buildings collapse. We're going to be looking to see if Locklear's team can grab a win this time around, as I believe they're moving back to attack, if I remember correctly. Let me think about this. They were attack, defend, attack. Yeah, I think that's right. So we're going to see what they're going to be able to do as they move into this last map. And again, everybody wins if they break the building. So I think everybody's going to be calling in those missiles.
And you got to work together, even if you're on the defense at that point and you're like, I don't know if I actually want this building to break down. I'm trying to hold it. No, break it down, get the quantum keys and the mantle bricks so you can have so much fun on your Delta Force grind, because that is the way. And yeah, to be fair, I don't don't know what it's going to look like. I just know we're going to have a ton of Cenivas all over the place. And we saw just on the NA broadcast a couple of days ago, Ghosh, the effects of vehicles on some of these certain sectors. And I think we will see a certain someone who is very obvious to chat and us at home, Creepwalker, likely going to be the one that takes advantage of it. I 100% think so.
Well, I think it's a huge shout too because they're in second overall in the top squad leaderboard. So they're going to be right behind our top team. It's a decent margin, but it's not necessarily impossible to overcome, especially if they stomp the other team. So I think there's an opportunity to look out for that because they are on opposite sides. That Sway team that's in second and then Yellow Love's team who's in first overall in our squad leaderboards. They are on opposite sides, and there's a chance that this thing could be totally flipped on its head, pinning the way this fight goes. I did get word from production, by the way, just to confirm that it is our French side with Locklear. They're going to be defending. I got my sides wrong there, and it is going to be Trilix's squad that is going to be attacking again. So we'll see if they can find that success this time around. As a reminder, they won the attack on our Trench Lines map, but it was in overtime, so it was very, very close. The thing that I think we learned, Tiff, when we did this in North America was that the best way to attack on this map, the best way to attack on Threshold is no holds barred. You've got to sprint at your opponent. The problem, the hard part about Threshold is some of these choke points that are very, very skinny. They're hard to work through. It's really easy for the defense to hold the choke points down, especially, you know, when you're running Ceniva and you've got a shield in front of you, even, you know, you can hold it down very easily. However, if you're able to put your opponent, your defense on their heels and push through before they can even get set up, you just can't let off. If you give them a room to kind of stabilize and get set up, you're going to be in trouble. If you don't let off after you get the first point, I think there's a pretty good chance you're going to be able to push all the way through point A, B, and then all the way into C, where we then try to trigger that event. So something I'll be watching out for is if they can pedal to the metal, know the strat, and say, we cannot stop moving, keep pushing. If anybody slows down, we're going to be in trouble. But yeah, what are some of the things that you think we'll see from a weapon side of things? I mean, I think most people are going to be moving away from the marksman rifles. We might still see some sniper rifles, who knows? But since everybody's going to be running Ceniva, what do you think about weapons? Probably back to our ARs and SMGs?
I think so. I think it's going to be whatever you just feel most comfortable with and what you have unlocked and what you can make do with it, whether it's the M4, whether it's the AKS, like just whatever weapon you know you can fly and fry with. What I'm more concerned about is, are we going to have skilled pilots for the heli that is on Threshold? Or will someone completely take it down? Because we saw that thing get pretty much bodied straight into the ground immediately on our Threshold maps just a couple of days ago. But someone that is skilled needs to get behind and fly that thing.
Yeah, you know, it's a very interesting point, and I think we haven't seen a ton of efficiency with our helicopters in the last several events. I'm even thinking back to way back when we previewed Threshold, I think it was for the very first time. I want to say it was Nadeshot that was on the broadcast that time and was actually the one up in the helicopter and was completely lost. Like, didn't know how to operate out of the side. I think he was trying to even snipe out of the passenger seat. I respect it. I think the helicopter is actually a very, very valuable piece to this map if you use it correctly. So I'm looking at some of our top teams. I'm looking at Yellow Love, I'm looking at Creepwalker squad with Sway, I'm looking at Locklear's team, I'm looking at Axe team, Exinti, I believe it is. I think that's a squad that could potentially use it really well. But yeah, you definitely need to know what you're doing with the helicopter to make the most out of it. And make sure you stay away from some tank fire, because the reminder about this map is that it's basically cut off into two sectors. Once you move from point A into point B, there's basically a huge roadblock where you can't get a vehicle through. There are some vehicles that'll spawn on the other side, helicopter included, but if you have a vehicle that gave you a ton of value in the first point, you're not going to be able to get it over into the second point. And so that second point is going to be one that's going to be a little bit more difficult, but it is that choke point I'm talking about. So if they push through it quickly, all of a sudden B1 and B2 are super easy to capture and you're on into C. C is going to feel a little bit more similar to maybe like D1, D2 of trench lines, where it's a tug of war. It's two separate buildings. They're attached by kind of a linear building and a pathway between them, but they're pretty much totally separate. And so it's going to be, how do we capture one and then all move to the second without just swapping, you know, points with our defense and attack. So it'll be fun to watch. I'm excited to see what they're able to do. And then again, of course, we've got to stay tracking these guided missiles. That's the thing I'm going to be looking out for, and to see if they drop them on the buildings at C1 to make sure they trigger the event.
What if they don't? Like, what if we go through this entire thing and they don't trigger the event? Someone...
No Mandel bricks then.
I know, you've got to get the Mandel bricks. I know a ton of these players love grinding operations and kind of making sure that's going to happen. So do not forget the main objectives here: guided missiles, tear down C1, bring it to the ground. We want Mandel bricks and quantum keys. But also, do you notice that we really didn't see too many of the new things from season 4 just yet from our creators? Like, especially with the warfare mode, like we had flamethrowers just a couple days ago, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And we didn't get too much flamethrower action today, and that's okay too. But just know that it's out there, and it makes for a really interesting fight up close.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I think the flamethrower actually could be a pretty good value as you are transitioning onto that first point. I think one of my favorite parts about this map is the kind of aesthetic of the first point. It's this almost like courtyard area of a square building that you're trying to hold, but it's like corridors around that square, and so you can kind of play in CQB and open air. One of the things we saw in the NA event was, I want to say there was, I think it was NYXC's squad was able to grab vehicles and basically skirt around in the open air, able to take down teams that were rushing in towards the point to make it even harder to capture. I'm not even sure we even got through the first point, and that's the nature of Threshold. It's a difficult one to attack, but if you can do so with ferocity, you usually find some success. So I'm excited to see what the teams are able to do, and I think we're getting ready for this first lobbies. And as we're doing that, I think, Tiff, it's worth reminding people at home about what they can earn in game, folks. Look, this is exciting for me. I've done a ton of these broadcasts before, and every single one of them we talk about is like, what rewards can we earn? Delta Force always have rewards for you, and they're frankly very easy to pick up on. So one of the first things that you got to remember is about all of those amazing sign-in rewards. We'll come back to those here in a little bit. We're going to take a very short break here in the booth while we get our last lobby ready to go. And I want you to take a look at this 7-day login reward, because we've got skins all day for you. And the way these work is very simple. It's 7 days of logging in. Yeah, you just log in for 7 days, and each day that you log in, you earn something. You can see after 1 day, after 2 days, after 3 days, this is what you're earning along the way. So as you go through just logging into the game, even if you're like, I don't even have time to play today besides one single match, go log in to get your rewards. There's a lot more as well, more in-game events, and these can all be done on mobile as well. You can sign into the mobile version to get those massive rewards. There's cross progression between mobile. There's a ton of stuff on PC. Lots and lots going on. Here's a quick look at those QR codes, by the way. If you want to play on mobile, get your hands on it. iOS App Store, Google Play Store. You can literally just scan the QR code on your screen. Don't even have to go to the App Store. We got you here on the broadcast. Go check it out. It's a great way to play Delta Force on mobile. It's literally all under one account, so there's like a seamless transition in progress. You can play wherever you are, whether it's coffee break, battles, travel, skirmishes. Dive into the fray across multiple devices with no barriers. And I'm going to be honest, it looks like you're playing on a PC on mobile. The graphics are insane. And the devs even said you can play on like an iPhone 6. It's wild. Doesn't matter the device you have. Go check it out on mobile. Now, we're going to head through a very short break before we get into our last map of the day. We are headed to Threshold. You're not going to want to miss it. It's all Sanivas. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Find the gunner.
Welcome. Your compatibility really impressed me.
Billy de Montbell. Call sign Knox, assault operator. Trained by Havoc, Knox is a seasoned mercenary with rich experience. As a man of few words who prefers to operate independently, his collaboration with GTI is a product of necessity rather than a choice. Specializing in information disruption with proficiency in various combat techniques, he excels in stealth operations. Like a cold dagger, he exposes vulnerabilities in enemy defenses to strike at their throats. Knox's tactical equipment, Silent Assault, consists of an information jammer and sonic jammer. When activated, the disruptors emit sonic interference waves, minimizing Knox's sound propagation and the alert range of enemies. While this interference is in effect, enemy recon tools are unable to pinpoint Knox's exact location.
Allied forces are engaging at objective Bravo.
Welcome back to Warfare Meltdown. It's been total frenzy all day today. It's in the name, and it's definitely true. And we're in Europe all day. We've played 2 amazing matches, and we're about to hop into our 3rd map of the day. We're going to be moving to Threshold, where things are certainly going to change. But before we get there, I want to remind you to download Delta Force. You can do it on just about every single platform you can think of. You can see the link down right below, right underneath me, for the official PC launcher. But there's also, you can get the game on Epic Games Store. You can get the game on Steam. You can get the game on iOS now, on iOS App Store or Android Google Play Store, folks. We do have mobile in the house, and Delta Force Mobile is cross progression. It's actually kind of nuts, the amount of things that you can do on the mobile version. It's also the first mobile warfare mode out there, all-out 24v24 combat. You can experience those modern wars on mobile and the epic warfare mode that you're seeing today. Land, sea, air, everywhere in between. It's a dang good time, and you're gonna want to play it on mobile, because you can play it on a coffee break. You don't have to be at your PC at home. You can do it anywhere and progress your account on both. Now, the other thing is, a lot of folks have been asking me, I get DMs, I'm serious, all the time in Discord and on X Twitter, that are like, how do I get involved in all these Delta Force events? You're always up there in the booth talking about these amazing Delta Force events, and I'm going to tell you how. It's very simple. Go drop a follow on all Delta Force socials. That's the first simplest part. It takes about 3.5 milliseconds. Click the button. Wherever you're watching me right now, go ahead and drop a follow here. We're live all over the place as per the usual, and always dropping amazing new content, news, updates, and events on all of these social medias. And the big one, folks, is Discord. This is where the big pings go out about events or things that are going on in the Delta Force ecosystem. You're going to want to pay attention to that Discord, so make sure you head down to the link in the description below, I believe, on YouTube, and also, I think our mods can help you out here on Twitch. You'll see the link. I think there's a panel of it down below as well. Go grab that Discord link, hop in there. You're going to see a bunch of information. You can kind of curate your Discord to get all the info you need. And maybe you could even use it as a looking for group option. Go pick up some teammates there if you don't have any for warfare operations or anything in between. Now, we've got a ton of rewards just for signing into Delta Force, but if you're watching on Twitch, like I am, I've got the Twitch open on the left-hand side, Delta Force Game Official, we got drops active on the main channel. We got drops active on our streamers' channels as well. Look at all these amazing drops rewards down below. You got gear tickets if you're a fan of operations. Great way to hop into a map and not have to think about your loadout. Just grab one of these gear tickets. But we've also got some armament vouchers. We've got skins. We've got XP cards. We've got XP tokens. We got everything in between, as well as vehicle skins. So yeah, this is free, folks. You just got to watch a stream. Keep it open on the side all day. We've had these drops active all week since our mobile launch on the 21st and our NA event on the 21st. We've been having a lot of fun getting all these rewards. I've already received all these awards. Big thing about this, though, you got to make sure your Delta Force account is attached to your Twitch account. I believe that's the Steam account, by the way, if you're playing on Steam. So make sure that's account is linked in your settings on Twitch in order to redeem them. You might have them, but to redeem them, you got to link those two things. I'm sure you can find some guides online, or our mods can help us out. Now let's bring back Tiff as we prepare for the final map of the day. Tiff, one of the things we talked about during our NA broadcast that's worth bringing up now too is, yes, we have a brand new season on our hands, Eclipse Vigil, that you and I have been talking a ton about with Knox and a lot of more things that have been added. But you had mentioned too, we did a big roundtable with our developers and game directors that have a lot of information that people are asking questions about. People should go tune into. I see people in chat talking about console release. We talk about console release in that roundtable. So go check out that VOD on the Delta Force YouTube. But tell me about this new season, because we've seen some of the pieces that have been updated in this new season. Getting into our events this week, what else would people find, and kind of break it down for me, what people can find in this new Eclipse Vigil season?
It's like, where do we start? There's so many cool things, and I love that you already talked about the dev panel, because that does start to answer a lot of the quality of life changes that we saw upgraded across Delta Force, right? They kind of changed up the sound design, so it gives you more access, even if you're in warfare operations, to kind of be more pinpoint accurate on where players are approaching you from. So if you drop into Zero Dam and you get into a building and there's multiple levels, you'll start being able to listen in and be able to say, okay, there's a person below me, and more kind of focus on where that audio is going through. So just nice quality of life updates throughout all around. Of course, you have the new weapons and gear. We haven't really seen too many of them today. You've got the K437 assault rifle coming in with that .300 ammo, the 725 double barrel shotgun, which I thought we were going to see maybe a couple of days ago. Didn't really get to see too much of that. I don't think Dragon's Breath is going to be in play for a second here, but keep an eye on your favorite creators as they kind of get a lot of those things unlocked. I know you're going to be loving that, especially when you want to break down people's armor over there in operations. The compound bow, I briefly mentioned before the break the engineer item that we saw here on Warfare specifically. It was the flamethrower. We got a lot of flamethrower fights over in NA just a couple of days ago, and people were getting heated, quite literally. So I did enjoy that, but no Knox today, Goj. We had some specific operators that we had to lock in.
Yeah, no, it's a great shout. Maybe people are saving the Knoxes for later. We did see a lot of Knoxes in North America, but yes, we are headed into our final map of the day where everybody has to use Geneva, and so no Knox today. But I've enjoyed Knox. I think somebody in chat said they really enjoy playing Knox in operations. I think that makes a lot of sense as well. When you're not in utter chaos at all times, you're trying to play extremely tactfully and tactically. Definitely Knox is a great option for that. But thank you for the breakdown there on the season update. Yeah, there's a ton going on, and obviously our Trench Lines night map as well that we've seen now twice today and in our North American broadcast. But we're moving to Threshold, and in Threshold there's another update that we had mentioned with our prizing, which is this critical event. This moment in the map where you can blow up an entire building and bring it crumpling to the ground. And if you do that today in our event, our players are going to be earning some Mandel bricks as a part of their rewards. It takes a few guided missiles, it takes a few other things, and potentially it will take this thing down. So definitely go check out everything that this new season has to offer. And if you're maybe hopping back into the map for the very first time, or into the game for the first time, or the first time in a while, reminder about those sign-in rewards. Help you catch up and help you unlock some of those operators that maybe take a little bit longer to get your hands on. So yeah, lots going on. And, I think going into this map, the thing I'm going to be looking about is one, obviously, with everybody running Sneva, I think some of our metas are going to change a little bit. How do I play around this shield? How do I work with this operator's kit? Maybe some players haven't even used this operator too much yet. So it'll be fun to watch them kind of figure out this amazing kit. But also, I think the big strategy conversation is the one that we talked about a little bit before the break, which is, as the attacking team, how do we carry our momentum forward to be able to take these points? because I think anybody that's played Threshold knows this is a fun map. I really enjoy this one. The defense is a pretty strong advantage with the choke points that are on this map. If you're able to hold some of those choke points, you're able to do a ton of damage. So I'm pumped to see what our attackers have kind of cooked up in this break. We had a little bit of a longer break from the last map to this one, and I think they've been having some conversations about what do we need to do to get through from point A to point B without getting stuck. And so look for that kind of quagmire point. Look for that spot where people get really stuck and slowed down going from point A to point B if they're able to get A at all. As a reminder, we've got Trilix's squad, I believe, attacking, and we've got Locklear's squad back on the defense this time. So we'll see if our French folk can hold it down, or if potentially it's going to be a lot of the same, which is, frankly, Trilix's squad winning everything. Thank you for your patience, folks. It's time to hop into map number 3. We got it all set up. It's ready. Rock and roll. See what you're able to do. It is all about holding point A, and this is going to be a big one. This is a tone setter, Tiff. And I'm excited to see what our dear friend Locklear is going to be able to do to try to work his way back up the squad leaderboard.
I'll tell you one thing, Gauche. He took the glasses off. I feel like things just got real.
Les villes gredins, ils sont en 30 push.
Let's go, les gars.
Oh, they're back.
They're back. All is well in the world.
Oula.
So there's kind of two areas you can hold on this map. You can see it on the left side over here to Locklear's left that he's running to now. This is the quad building I was talking about. Some of these sightlines are extremely important to hold down. And one of the first things you have to do is take down their first vehicle. That's going to be a tank on the other side. That's going to be a problem if you can't figure it out. That's one of those vehicles that has an anti-infantry gun as well. And as per the usual, I assume, Tiff, that it's Yellow Love Squad trying to get an immediate flank around the backside of this building, which could open up the front line as we see our first look at the flamethrower as well.
Oh no, Lolly in the helicopter. We were asking, would there be a qualified pilot? I'm thinking so.
Paratroopers coming in.
Yeah, Lolly's good. He knows what he's doing, and so this will be a fun one to kind of take care of. Now, as a reminder too, I kind of misspoke there. Yellow Love wasn't flanking to try to take down the defense. Yellow was probably trying to guard the flank to carry the defense forward. He's the one actually holding this point. And it's going to be Lolly. It's going to be Preep Walker probably in trouble as he tries to grapple people off of high ground and throw up that shield.
Я жду, пока хп отресторится.
Подсвечивайте врагов, когда вы ищете за этот топ-поинт, даете.
Я косарь поинтов нафармил под щитом, пока ходил просто.
That's gotta be one of the fastest A captured points I've seen in a while on Threshold. This is not looking good for the defense. They were able to push all the way through A and are sprinting at B. This is the momentum I was talking about. You cannot stop running. Just run at your opponents. Do not let them get fully set up here. Trying to grapple them back into the point that he could actually play in. The Saniva on Saniva battle of everybody running this operator is hilarious.
Get close, pull up the shield. Start taking shots, pull up the shield. Try to grapple him closer and punch him down. Okay, Preep, imagine if we come through with that. We are seeing a lot of people actually use the Scar here. I saw Mikolo with one, Locklear with one, and a vehicle to jump across the way.
Looks like Foxana is using an AUG.
Je vais essayer cette arme.
Je sais pas si la Scar...
I'm reloading, leave me be. Yeah, we need this to play objective.
They're flanking already. They're on the right of B2. Quad coming up. Quad coming up.
Quick overlook that camera. This is the choke points I'm talking about. B1, B2 are frankly very difficult to cap if you are the attackers to do it correctly. Now, Ramathra is just holding the corner with the shield saying, please get away. Farming some score though, which is nice.
Remember, top squad. It's all you want to be after map number 3. And it was pretty close compared to that map 1. So we'll see what's on the other side here. R15 in the back pocket, but still looking for a way to breach on in.
And they've got the helicopter on their side. You can see it from Denzel's POV from behind. You're probably not going to be able to do too much with the helicopter on these actual points, but you could help out your team for just an overwatch position playing on the backside potentially with the heli to try to clean up the streets so that you can get actually onto the point.
I like that we're using vehicles and such for just extra cover through these choke points that you were highlighting prior to dropping into here.
Yeah, and this is what I was worried about. The attack is just dominating. This one's moving very quick. Now, at B1, B2, again, it's a pretty hard point to break into, but if you have momentum and you're flying at your opponents, if you get them destabilized, they're not going to be able to get set up in time, and they spawn pretty far away. So if they don't have an actual hold on you, it becomes very easy to take them. Now, this is, folks, this is the last point of this map. C1 and C2. This is where we can trigger the critical event. This is also where the game could end very quickly. So there's kind of a lot on the line here from metal bricks, of course, if you can trigger the event and bring down this building. But also, how long will this point hold? Will we even see a guided missile on this map? There's a chance that the answer is no.
That is a good point. So, I mean, you should have gotten it out in map 1, map 2, and turn your attention into C1 and kind of destroying the building and with whatever else you can use. It makes things difficult, right? It can collapse after being hit by multiple guided missiles. But can we do it without the guided missiles?
Yeah, right.
I just said, holy crap. Oh my god, I jumped out by accident. I'm cooked, boys.
I'm gonna rep, we're repping.
I have my engines cooked.
Oh no,
my engine got completely cooked. So I pressed G for active defense and fat fingered F to jump out. Right, what are the points looking like? Okay, pretty even.
They are coming in with an assault vehicle in the middle now.
It's going in.
Where is he going now?
C2.
Ooh, a little jump out of the vehicle, go prone, take out the Rocketeer. Very well done.
From front or behind?
Right side.
I think there's a decent chance we'll hold these two buildings for a while, but we'll see. Nice overlook of players already getting onto point C2, trading blows. Yellow Love doing everything in his power to try to hold on.
I'm gonna grab a tank destroyer soon.
Attacking objective Charlie 1.
Wait, why is somebody playing Veyron? What the fuck?
Wait, where?
No,
somebody's playing Veyron on the enemy team.
Somebody's playing.
Already just exploded on the other side. Helicopter going crazy. You can see Vabatrow, it looks like top of the leaderboard on the right-hand side. Whereas the Yellow Love folks are top of the leaderboard on the left-hand side.
It's going to come down to that top squad of the day if they want to get a hold of those ROG monitors. 27 inches, 240 hertz. Absolute crazy good monitors here for our creators.
50 euros.
They don't.
That's funny. Creatix is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are they so aggressive? Everybody's playing for prizing, right? Let's extend this game out. We want to play some more Delta Force. The attacker said, we're trying to win. Nice shot from Mel. Ooh, nice find from Mel there. It will snap on. Unfortunately, somebody had a window to her right.
Ciel.
The background is crazy here for...
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Like, if you have a killer room, you play better. I swear, that's how it works.
Exactly right. Ramothra going for a flank here over to C2.
C'est un show match où on peut pas jouer ce qu'on a envie de faire.
Par un mec, gros, je vais faire
Les règles ont été créées par un modo Discord. C'est une OP. Et point d'exclamation d'État fort, c'est incroyable. Oh waouh. C'est incroyable. Vraiment, c'est incroyable.
Oh wow, that player had no clue. Locklear was there.
Le jeu est éclaté là comme ça là, quand vous le regardez là. Mais je vous assure que si vous voyez réellement le jeu, genre point d'exclamation d'État force, tester réellement le jeu, c'est pas ça, c'est pas ça. Là on est
I think he's hyping up the game, Gauche. I do
All
think
right.
so. I can't
Great.
tell for sure, okay? But like my brain, that for some reason that's what it was telling me.
Look, I've done so many events with Locklear at this point that I know for a fact he was. That dude loves Delta Force, but you know, obviously always wants to make the game the best that it can be. So he's got a couple thoughts around that. He is constantly grinding the game, and so fun to watch him. Obviously, talk to his community as per the usual, but always playing. He is a huge fan of operations. I know he grinds operations as well, so excited to see what they're able to do for the rest of this one and then into the future. Always see Locklear in these events, but we'll see. And I think right now it has traded hands. We are on the defense is still able to hold 1 point for now, and as per the usual, the classic tug of war between CE2 and C1, but we need a lot of damage done to these buildings if we're going to trigger the critical event. See vehicles trying to come in from the back side of this point are able to do just that, so I believe C2 going to be a big problem right now.
Diese Brücken 3 Stück sogar.
Diese
Brücken 3 Stück sogar. Krank.
Sind da alle? Da sind nicht nur 3, ich glaube, das sind so 5 Stück oder so.
Ja, die halten das komplett. Ah, ich spawn bei dir, Dancer. Oh, von außen, ne?
Oh no, not the walk up with the riot shield. I was loving what I was witnessing and taking people down kind of off that catwalk up ahead, but back to Kerberos here, and especially if you're gonna have a vehicle at close range, we fire off, but unfortunately that FSV wheeled tank destroyer will get the best of us, so a respawn is necessary.
That's a tough vehicle to deal with, I'm not gonna lie. That thing wrecks infantry, but also vehicles. Definitely useful to do what the name says, which is destroy tanks. But this is Trilix's team trying to cap C1 and C2 at the same time. A very difficult task numbers-wise. And there looks like they're going to trade, so it's going to be C2 going to them, C1 trading back to the defense. If they're able to hold on. Somebody's trying to play spoiler.
Wenn die Angreifer bei dem letzten Spot unter 75 Tickets haben, dann crasht irgendwie ein Flugzeug in das Gebäude rein oder irgendwie sowas. Ich weiß es aber nicht sicher, ob das automatisch dann genau nur dadurch getriggert wird oder ob wir auch was aktiv dafür machen können.
We didn't kill, not really far away from you.
Be advised, our forces have secured objective Charlie 2. Moving
Far
on.
in 48 seconds. Just be
Secure
ready.
our last sector, whatever it takes.
And Yellow Love's team is doing the best they can to hold on to this defense. Doing a pretty good job of trading blows here. 195 lives still. But it truly is a trade. That's just Lolly able to find Yellow Love nearly immediately.
Ça prend C2 devant moi.
Non, par pitié, putain, je respawn sur Lock, il y a 4 mecs qui arrivent à ce moment-là.
That is tough, but we'll keep on moving there. Good free cam showing. I know they were talking about on Yellow Love Squad that they were going to get a vehicle in about 48 seconds, so it's probably in the game or just about to get there. Kerberos there with some beautiful jump shots and locking straight onto the target. Let's see what we can get from this angle. It's got 2 in the sight lines. Tons of damage going down. Not going to be taken down by them.
Good trades here on C2. Again, taking C2 back, but losing C1. This is a tough point. C1 and C2 at the same time. Such a difficult task because of where the defense set up. But yeah, go for the grapple. Show you a clip. Grapple him in. Shield bash him. Nice save. He blocks so much damage.
It's also a good way to build points.
Ja, jetzt rennen halt alle nach C1 von uns und dann holen die sich wieder
Ja,
C2.
dann wird C2 wieder eingenommen. Ja.
I'm stuck, what the fuck is this?
Mann, Bruder, ey, wirklich krass.
Uh-oh. We've lost C2. We're losing C1. We gotta hold on just a little bit longer. We've gotta trigger the critical event. We need our mantle bricks, Tiff.
No, we're losing it. Oh,
Wait.
I'm spawning C1. Okay.
Oh, we're good? Ish?
Holy shit.
It was really close, my guy, but guess what? You're back in it to win it. Oh, no.
Wie sterb ich da? What? Bruder, das 5 Mates, warum bitte?
The flank comes through and is able to pick up a couple. Oh no.
Casse l'écran, casse l'écran, casse l'écran. Casse l'écran.
There's a bit of reprieve from the defense for a moment on C1, but all of a sudden they're losing it again.
J'en peux plus, frère.
The tanks are ruining the backside of the defense. They're unable to get to the points, and this could be the defining moment as Creepwalker beats people up with a shield and holds down this point. This could be game, set, match. This could be the end of the game. Well done. Holy cow. Tiff, frankly, our attackers dominated that one and did a fantastic job getting both of these really difficult points.
15 minutes goes, and you see how it ends with Creepwalker out there, riot shield in hand, just blocking, bumping, doing the most on the interior side of things. Excels not only in vehicles on trench lines at night, but can get mixy when capping a point.
Yeah, that was going to be a tough one for him. I could just tell the way the attackers came out swinging so aggressively early with vehicles and everything in between. There just wasn't enough room to work with for the defense. They just were always on their heels, always on their back foot, always struggling just a little bit to stabilize. The thing about Threshold is that if you cannot stabilize, you're going to have a very, very difficult time defending. And so because of that, the attackers just were able to win it at the end. So great effort at the end. I do think our attackers are going to be thinking, dang, we didn't even get to call in our guided missiles in the last round. We could have made some extra cash. But they had to take that win. They had to go 3-0. It's all about the ego. It's all about the pride of being the champion squad. Let's take a quick look back on that map and some of the highlights from it to see what we were able to see, why the attackers were so dominant. One of those reasons, of course, vehicles being extremely valuable. But it was fun, Tiff, to watch everybody use this Saniva operator and shield bash their way to victory.
Keep on shield bashing, trying to take down the vehicles. And I know that when we were over in NA, we were playing Threshold. Everyone was talking about the biggest objective. You see a vehicle, you take it down immediately. And I love that people were focusing on them, but sometimes it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's right. And here's a quick look at some of our players dominating in the battlefield, some struggling, but overall having a great time as two players come rushing up with their shields out. That's got to be a scary moment. Yellow Love's team did everything that they could to be the top squad today and really had a great showing. This map, a frustrating one, I'm sure, to some degree. But even still, they're likely going to be near the top, if not at the top still, even losing this one. You can see Trilix's team did a fantastic job here, taking both points, blowing up vehicles. Shout out to Kerberos. I see Kerberos in the chat and also in-game crushing it, but it was Creepwalker that ended with a smile on his face because they were able to grab the victory with the grapple in Shield Bash to close things out. Very well done from Creepwalker and everybody that competed today. That was a ton of fun, I gotta say. I don't know which map was my favorite. Did you have a favorite between the three? Between the two trench line maps or the Threshold map? Was there one that caught your eye the most?
I don't know if I had a favorite map. I think it was just favorite moments, and we got them a lot on replays, right? I'm gonna go with the shield bashing in map 3, and then I'm gonna go with the chaos of Stallion sniping, actually, in the snipers only and marksmen's in game number 2. So I like to pick up on those individual aspects as opposed to a map in general, but I do think trench lines at night is absolutely gorgeous and looks just kiss.
Well, Tiff, speaking of favorite moments, this has got to be one of my favorite moments because the champions are about to be revealed. Who is our top team of the day? It's champions time. Who is it? Show me those numbers. Who came out on top above everyone else? And, well, I'm going to be honest. Did you expect anything different? Team Yellow Love Squad dominated all day today. Mr. Bunny, John DeBomb, Yellow Love, Tilia, just incredible job today. Not only maintaining a top spot on the board, but also just putting up crazy kill numbers. We saw a variety of strategies work out for them. They were just going for this reward. I can only imagine. So huge shout out to this team. You could tell they were doing a fantastic job throughout the course of the day, and they truly did dominate. I knew they were going to be a strong squad. I didn't know they were going to be this strong, though. Look at that gap. Almost, what, like 60,000 or so points separating top to second. Huge shout out to Creepwalker there on Sway's team. Really did a good job getting second, and then Axon TTV there in 3rd, and so on and so forth. It does look like, Tiff, that Locklear is going to wrap up in 5th still, and just Lolly there in 6th.
I mean, I'll take a top 5. That's feeling good. But all of our competitors, our content creators, our streamers today, congratulations. You guys played exceptionally well. I can't wait to see how many of you walked away with cash from the guided missile. Unfortunately, we see here that the 5 Mandel bricks and Quantum Keys were a failure for everyone in our lobby today. As much as I would have loved for you guys to do it, we even heard some of our creators on the threshold. They were just like, hey guys, like, are we not wanting to bring in the guided missiles? Are we not wanting to take down C1? We just want to keep on hustling throughout this?
Yeah, I don't know. It was so funny. I love that our defense was like, hey, attackers just don't like money. And it's like, well, actually, they just like to win. And they wanted to win. The onus of responsibility was on the defense to stay alive and keep things alive, but still a ton of fun. Tiff, what a great day for another fantastic Warfare show, this time with our European friends. It is getting a bit late for some of them, though, past dinner, getting into the late hours. Some of them probably just starting their streams, who knows. But for you and I, we're wrapping things up here. Any final thoughts for the broadcast, Tiff? It's been great to have you back-to-back shows and more down the line.
Yeah, it's been really fun to see kind of the unique aspects that we've been taking into Warfare by kind of having these fun modes where it's, oh, no, you can only play Saniva here, or snipers only, or a couple days ago it was shotguns only. Just some really unique aspects to highlight of a lot of our creators that have spent time grinding Delta Force and growing the community and hyping it up and providing that feedback. I've been having just so much fun witnessing it all. I know we have a ton coming this way, especially on this channel, Goj, but it's been a pleasure to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's great to have you with us. I'm sure we'll be seeing you actually literally tomorrow. So make sure you're all paying attention to Delta Force channels. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. But Tiff, go get some rest as well, and I will see you here in a little while. Folks at home, guess what? It's the worst part of the show where I got to close things out. But before I do, I've got a couple things, A, I need to remind you of, and B, I need to tell you to do, because that's what I do in the booth. First and foremost, as per the usual, if you haven't already, what are you doing? If this didn't look like fun, maybe go get your eyes checked. It's time to download Delta Force right now. It's free to play. It will always be free to play, and we love that about Delta Force. They are committed to no pay to win as well. Definitely worth your time, and you can now get it on basically every single platform. You can go to Steam, go to Epic Games, and of course you can go to the website right down below to go download the PC version of this game. But guess what? It is out on mobile, iOS App Store, Google Play Store. If you're on an Android device, go get your hands on the mobile game right now. And I've got some QR codes for you to make it very, very easy. Why not just screenshot this? Click the QR code or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. It'll take you straight to the App Store to start that download. Free to play, folks. And guess what? Cross progression. So dang cool that Delta Force on mobile has cross progression with your PC. Make sure you attach your accounts. And I gotta say, the graphics on mobile are unreal. So if you're on a coffee break, maybe you're traveling on a train, go play Delta Force on mobile and continue to progress and level up your account. And there's a ton of sign-in bonuses and all of those amazing things we've been talking about today on mobile and on PC. So go ahead and catch up, get your operators and everything in between. This is the last time I'll be able to tell you this on broadcast because, well, we're about to close, but it is probably my favorite and most important thing I'm going to tell you today. You've got to follow Delta Force on all major socials, events, news, updates, patch notes, developer interviews, roundtables, everything in between. There's a ton going on in the Delta Force ecosystem, and you're not going to want to miss it. The big thing, though, join that Discord. It's a great way to get involved in events like this and more events down the line. Hear about esports that are all happening here in a little while. Make sure you join that Discord and drop a follow wherever you're watching and all the other socials. And so I think the last thing I'll get to tell you here is about the rewards that you get to get on Twitch specifically with all of our player streams that are competing today, everybody that's been streaming throughout this week that has drops active, and of course here you've probably been earning them as well. So make sure you go check your drop setting in your Twitch account. Make sure your Delta Force account is attached to it, and you can get all of these amazing drops that are down below me throughout the course of this week since our mobile game has launched. All right, so the final thing I get to tell you after Twitch drops is this. Hey folks, play the game on mobile, but also pay attention to our broadcasts that are right around the corner. We've got Delta Force Esports. We're getting into the swing of things. We've done some semifinals off screen, and now it's time for the big main stage. We've got Warfare Esports coming tomorrow for EU and North America. We're going to be live almost all day with a break in between, starting at around, if you're over here in Central Time, we're going to be starting around middle of the day in Central, just around dinner time for the side of our EU folks. Same thing Saturday. That's going to be Operations Esports with the Observer Cam, the Free Cam. It's so dang sick. You might even recognize some of the players from today in those esports events. So don't miss out on those. It's going to be live on all the same channels. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'll be there. It's going to be tomorrow and Saturday. Don't miss it, folks. As a reminder, we couldn't do it without you, the viewers. So thanks for being here. And I'm sure we'll see you tomorrow with all of our esports broadcast.
Viens, Rêve.
C'est impossible, frère. Oh mon dieu.
Ok, viens pas, il y a
Really cool, especially on trench lines, because if you're just like aggressively running towards someone with that motorized exfil, you hit the slide and
Free Cam Observer perspective. See ya. That'll work. Nicola.
You relatively stand still here.
Moi je suis en train de prendre la sauce. Hop.
Le point. Everybody's using these missiles because everybody is farming for kills and lock the copy that.
I bet everyone's about to copy it. We're all just gonna start stealing it. Thank you. I will say one thing about that squad in general is they're so good at just making sure playing alongside Mr. Bunny, Julia, and Yellow Love, which we've been seeing so many.
Oh my god.
On the map, and maybe the hardest point on the map, pending how many missiles you have for last. Trying to get into the mix, I don't know, but here's a look at another. We are watching that one in. That is crazy. And that
just ignore them.
I got
Yellow is probably trying to guard the.
Oh no,
My engine got completely cooked. So I pressed G for active.
Down kind of off that catwalk up ahead, but back to Kerberos here. Spot they were going to get a vehicle in about 48 seconds, so it's probably in the game or just about to get there.